Okay. So hello students. So please type in the chat box. Am I audible? Can you all see the screen? All of you. So please type in the chat box. Am I audible to you? Can you all see the screen actually? Is Gatewallah planning to release bug test says? We are actually planning, but it has to be decision has to be taken yet. Okay. So fine. Good evening, Sudipta. So please type in the chat box. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Good evening, Anusha. So type in the chat box audible, right? Yeah, good evening. Great. So let's continue. So today is the last session where we will solve some PYQs of engineering mathematics. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow we'll start new questions actually. Okay. So basically like Abhyas says that we have done for mechanical. Okay. So basically in this session I have kept, since many of you are asking for this solutions of heat equation, okay, and interpolation actually, then this concept of diagonalization, all these concepts I have kept in today's lecture. What are the extra topics basically that you feel a little difficult? I've tried to keep all these things, and if we miss one or two other topics also, that I'll make sure the questions on that topics will come in Abhyas series. Okay, so that's how we will cover the complete syllabus, no issues. Okay, so what will be done in Abhyas session? Basically we will do questions of complete syllabus but new questions. Okay, they are not PYQs. So हम कुछ नए क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं, ठीक है, सिलेबस कंप्लीट सिलेबस कवर करके. सो अभी देखिए ये थर्ड लेक्चर था and finally we reached here actually now, and this is our team of course. Now by this time you know each and every one of us because we have done this paper solving and all these things. सर हिंदी में समझना प्लीज. ओके जरूर. सो हम सीधा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे जाते हैं. देखिए, इन द क्वाड्रेचर रूल इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 f of x dx is equal to f of alpha plus gamma times of f of beta, where alpha, beta, gamma are real constants. Okay, so alpha, beta, gamma are real constants, is exact for all polynomials of degree less than or equal to 3. Then gamma plus 3 times of alpha square plus beta square plus alpha cube plus beta cube is equal to dash. Okay, so can you tell score in gate PI to get IIT Dharmal? My gate ME went wrong. PI may normally like the same cutoff like I have shown you ना, if you are from general category 760 around. ठीक है. So now if you see दिया कि quadrature rule यही है, and for all polynomials of degree less than or equal to 3, जिसका polynomials का degree less than or equal to 3 होते हैं, ये सब polynomials इस equation को satisfy करते हैं, है ना. So let us write, let f of x is equal to maximum कितना डिग्री दिया था 3, correct. So a naught plus a1x प्लस a2x स्क्वायर प्लस a3x क्यूब. सो मान लो कि ये आपका पॉलिनोमियल, क्योंकि दिया कि मैक्सिमम डिग्री 3 है. ओके, सो दैट डिग्री कैन बी 2 और इट कैन बी 1 और इट कैन बी लीनियर भी हो सकते हैं. सो अगर पॉलिनोमियल थर्ड डिग्री पॉलिनोमियल और कम से डिग्री पॉलिनोमियल, इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 f of x dx. सो f of x इज नथिंग बट j नॉट प्लस a1x प्लस a2x स्क्वायर प्लस a3x क्यूब dx. ये होता है कि ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल टू f ऑफ अल्फा. सो अगर इस इक्वेशन में आप अल्फा रख लिया तो f ऑफ अल्फा क्या होता है, a1 अल्फा प्लस a2 अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस a3 अल्फा क्यूब, है ना, प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ f ऑफ बीटा. ओके, सो f ऑफ बीटा क्या होता है, x के प्लेस में बीटा सब्स्टिट्यूट करना है. सो a नॉट प्लस a1 बीटा प्लस a2 बीटा स्क्वायर प्लस a3 बीटा क्यूब. करेक्ट. नाउ मेरे को कुछ चीज कंफर्म कीजिए आप लोग ने. अगर इस इंटीग्रल -1 से 1 तक चला तो ये दोनों टर्म्स का वैल्यू क्या होते हैं, मींस अगर इफ आई स्प्लिट दिस इंटीग्रेशन इनटू 4 डिफरेंट टर्म्स, इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 a नॉट प्लस dx ऑफ कोर्स. ओके, सो dx भी है, सो dx प्लस इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 a1 x dx प्लस इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 a2 x स्क्वायर dx प्लस इंटीग्रल -1 to 1 a क्यूब x a3 इंटू x क्यूब dx, a3 इंटू x क्यूब dx. नाउ कंफर्म कीजिए कि ये दोनों इंटीग्रल्स का वैल्यूज, सेकंड वन एंड लास्ट वन, ये दोनों इंटीग्रल्स का वैल्यूज क्या होते हैं. सो टेल मी, ये दोनों इंटीग्रल, सेकंड इंटीग्रल और फोर्थ इंटीग्रल, ये दोनों इंटीग्रल्स का वैल्यूज क्या होते हैं, 0, है ना, क्योंकि ये दोनों ऑड फंक्शंस है. करेक्ट. सो इस फंक्शन ऑड फंक्शन था एंड इस फंक्शन भी ऑड फंक्शन था. सो इसलिए ये दोनों का इंटीग्रल्स का वैल्यूज 0 हो सकते हैं. सो अगर ये दोनों इंटीग्रल्स का वैल्यू 0 हुआ तो ये इंटीग्रेशन इज 2 टाइम्स ऑफ a नॉट प्लस ये वाला क्या होता है a2/3 इंटू एक्स क्यूब. ओके, सो एक्स क्यूब इज बेसिकली, सो a2/3 इंटू इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ एक्स क्यूब is 1 cube 1 minus 1 cube is minus 1. So ये हो जाएगी 2a0 plus 2/3 terms of a2. करेक्ट. सो इस इंटीग्रेशन का वैल्यू 2a0 प्लस 2/3 टाइम्स ऑफ a2 आएगा. सो नाउ अगर हमें दोनों साइड्स को कंपेयर किया तो क्या होता है 2a1 प्लस 2a1 प्लस 2a0 प्लस 2/3 टाइम्स ऑफ a2. ओके, सो 2a0 plus 2/3 times of a2. This is equal to, now compare the constant terms. So constant terms is 1 plus gamma times a0. So 1 plus gamma times a0 plus ये वन का कोएफिशिएंट क्या होता है, ये अल्फा प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा. करेक्ट. सो अल्फा प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा टाइम्स a1 प्लस ये टू का कोएफिशिएंट क्या होता है, अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा स्क्वायर. सो अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा स्क्वायर a2 प्लस a3 का कोएफिशिएंट क्या होता है, अल्फा क्यूब प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा क्यूब. ओके, सो अल्फा क्यूब प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ बीटा क्यूब a3. नाउ अगर आपने दोनों साइड्स का कोएफिशिएंट्स कंपेयर किया तो क्या आते हैं, गामा प्लस 1 और 1 प्लस गामा इज इक्वल टू 2. इस इक्वेशन के हमको आता है कि गामा इज इक्वल टू 1. ओके, सो गामा इज इक्वल टू 1. सो अगर आपने गामा इक्वल टू 1 रख लिया तो ये अल्फा प्लस बीटा इज इक्वल टू, ये वन का कोएफिशिएंट कितना है 0. सो दिस इज 0. सो अल्फा इज इक्वल टू माइनस बीटा ऑफ कोर्स. नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू हियर अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस बीटा स्क्वायर, ये वैल्यू क्या होता है, कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ a2 कितना है 2/3. ओके, सो ए वैल्यू होता है कि 2/3. एंड अल्फा क्यूब प्लस बीटा क्यूब, क्योंकि गामा वैल्यू इज इक्वल टू 1, सो a3 का कोएफिशिएंट नहीं है, सो दिस इज 0. सो हमको वैल्यूज मिला. नाउ इफ यू चेक दिस क्वेश्चन में पूछा है कि गामा प्लस 3 टाइम्स ऑफ अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस बीटा स्क्वायर प्लस ये क्या होता है अल्फा क्यूब प्लस बीटा क्यूब. ओके, सो अल्फा क्यूब प्लस बीटा क्यूब है ना. सो दिस इज इक्वल टू गामा का वैल्यू 1 प्लस 3 टाइम्स ऑफ अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस बीटा स्क्वायर. अल्फा स्क्वायर प्लस बीटा स्क्वायर का वैल्यू कितना है 2/3 प्लस अल्फा क्यूब प्लस बीटा क्यूब, दैट वैल्यू इज 0. सो 3 गेट्स कैंसल्ड. सो 1 + 2 3 इज द करेक्ट आंसर. क्लियर. कितने लोगों को आया था 3? Fine. So please type in the chat box. How many of you got 3 as the correct answer? So कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर से एक्सी में कौन से टॉपिक्स आते हैं, एनालिटिक फंक्शन का टॉपिक आते हैं भैया. ठीक है. सो दिस इज द, ये बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन था, डायरेक्टली क्वाड्रेचर में दिया था. दिस इक्वेशन इज इक्वल टू एफ ऑफ अल्फा प्लस गामा टाइम्स ऑफ एफ ऑफ बीटा. सो 2-3 स्टेप्स लगा हमें, एंड फ्रॉम कंपैरिजन हमको ये तीनों वैल्यूज का न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू पता चलेगा. सो दैट्स व्हाट इफ यू सब्स्टिट्यूट देन वी विल गेट 3. Quadrature rule is basically like if any integration, what is the numerical technique that you can develop? Okay, so that's called quadrature rule. Okay, normally this trapezoidal rule, Simpson's 1/3 rule, Simpson's 3/8, or something like this, f of alpha plus gamma times of f of beta, all these things, all these are called quadrature rules basically. Okay, any numerical integration technique is called quadrature rule. Clear? So let's go for the next question. Let us solve this. Complex numbers में ऐसा क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं. Limit z tends to e power I pi by 3 z cube plus 1 by z power 4 plus z square plus 1. So इसका वैल्यू क्या होता है. So actually complex numbers में एक, you know, there is a rule actually. So is there a formula separately for quadrature rule? Yes, it is there, but not it is in our syllabus. Okay, so whatever they give you, they'll directly give you either trapezoidal or something like this. Okay, because for teaching you the quadrature rule, I have to go for something called finite differences. Okay, which is not in the syllabus as of now. So let us not discuss excess things as of now. Okay, maybe in some crash course or somewhere, if I get some time, I'll spend on finite differences. Okay, so अभी तक इतना याद रख लो. ठीक है. So now if you see, we know something called D Moivre's theorem. इसमें क्या होता है, अगर आपके पास एक कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर है तो सिस थीटा कॉस थीटा प्लस आई साइन थीटा होल पावर n इज इक्वल टू सिस n थीटा, है ना. So this is actually the complex number. So basically if you have any complex number, that complex number whole power n, okay, sis theta whole power n, okay, let us suppose if you have r also here, because magnitude is also there sometimes, so magnitude need not be 1 always. So r into cos theta plus I sin theta is equal to sis n theta into r power n. This is what you have from De Moivre's theorem. Okay, so now if you substitute here, this is equal to limit z tends to e power I pi by 3. So basically if you, okay, directly if you substitute this, e power I pi by 3 whole cube plus 1 divided by e power I pi by 3 whole power 4 plus e power I pi by 3 whole square plus 1. Now if you apply De Moivre's theorem, e power I pi by 3 whole cube is nothing but e power I pi by 3, so a power m whole power n form, so 3 gets cancelled, e power I pi plus 1 divided by here e power I 4 pi by 3 plus e power I 2 pi by 3 plus 1. Okay, so this is what you have actually here. So one thing is very clear, e power I pi is minus 1, so this numerator is 0, and if you check the values of this will also become 0 actually. Okay, so e power I pi by 3, सर ये कहाँ से आया, कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. Look, बेसिक्स ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स, आप अगर आपने क्लास 11 पढ़ा है तो वह कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स का कुछ बेसिक्स आते हैं, सो उस बेसिक्स में यही पॉइंट था. ठीक है, सो ई पावर आई पाई प्लस 1 डिवाइडेड बाय ई पावर आई 4 पाई बाई 3 प्लस ई पावर आई 2 पाई बाई 3 प्लस 1 एक्चुअली. ओके, सो ई पावर आई 4 पाई बाई 3 का वैल्यू क्या होता है, cos 4 पाई बाई 3 प्लस आई साइन 4 पाई बाई 3. ओके, एंड प्लस cos 2 पाई बाई 3 plus I sin 2 pi by 3 plus 1. Okay, so if you compare easily, you will easily understand that these two, sin 4 pi by 3 and sin 2 pi by 3, they change with a minus sign. Okay, because this is pi plus pi by 3, this is pi minus pi by 3, so values will be same but they have opposite signs, so complex terms gets cancelled. Now this is minus 1 by 2 and this is minus 1 by 2, so plus 1, this gives you 0, so you got a 0. So अगर लिमिट्स में आपको 0 by 0 फॉर्म आया तो क्या करते हैं आप लोग, एल हॉस्पिटल अप्लाई करते हैं ना. सो अप्लाइंग एल हॉस्पिटल रूल, अप्लाइंग एल हॉस्पिटल रूल, ये लिमिट कैसे होते हैं, लिमिट z टेंड्स टू e पावर i पाई बाई 3. नाउ अगर आपने न्यूमरेटर को डिफरेंशिएट किया तो z क्यूब प्लस 1, सो दिस इज 3z स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाय डिनोमिनेटर z पावर 4 4z क्यूब plus actually this z square is 2z plus 1, so basically z का value 0 नहीं है, so we can cancel, z is square here and 1z, so this is limit z tends to e power I pi by 3 3z divided by 4z square plus 2. करेक्ट, यही आएगा. नाउ अगर आपने इस इक्वेशन सब्स्टिट्यूट किया तो सो सर प्लीज टेक टुमारो सेशन आल्सो फॉर PYQs फॉर रिमेनिंग वंस. ओके, आई विल ट्राई टू डू. एम्बुलेंस को बुलाओ, क्यों, क्या हुआ एम्बुलेंस बुलाने के लिए, पहली बार देखा है ये सब कुछ है ना, लेकिन ये सब बहुत बेसिक्स है. ओके, सो अगर आपने क्लास 11 थोड़ा अच्छे से पढ़ा है तो आपको पता चलेगा कि ये सब ये सब पूरा बेसिक्स है कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स में. ओके, अच्छा एल हॉस्पिटल, सो हॉस्पिटल में, सो इसलिए एम्बुलेंस बुलाना है. ठीक है, अगर एक्सी एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं चला तो तब रियली एम्बुलेंस आएगा. ओके, सो प्लीज बी केयरफुल टिल नेक्स्ट संडे. ओके, सैटरडे, फाइन. सो अगर आपने सब्स्टिट्यूट किया तो 3 टाइम्स ऑफ ई पावर आई पाई बाई 3 इंटू 4 टाइम्स ऑफ ई पावर आई पाई बाई 3 होल स्क्वायर प्लस 2. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव. ओके, नाउ दिस इज इक्वल टू 3 इंटू, लुक ई पावर आई पाई बाई 3 का वैल्यू क्या होता है, cos पाई बाई 3 प्लस आई साइन पाई बाई 3 डिवाइडेड बाई this one 4 times of e power I pi by 3 whole square is nothing but e power I times of 2 pi by 3 है ना. so अगर if you have e power I 2 pi by 3 then cos 2 pi by 3 plus I sin 2 pi by 3 plus 2, so यही आएगा. now this is equal to 3 times of cos 60 1 by 2 plus I times of sin 60 root 3 by 2 divided by 4 times of cos 2 pi by 3 minus 1 by 2 plus I times of root 3 by 2 plus 2. Now what happens, this minus half, because 4 times of minus half is minus 2, so minus 2 and plus 2 gets cancelled. Okay, so in denominator you will have 2 times of I root 3. Okay, so this is 3 times of 1 plus I root 3 by 2 divided by 4 times of, actually 4 times of I root 3 by 2, so 4 times of I root 3 by 2, so 2 gets cancelled actually here. And this, what are the options, कैसे दिया था, 3 by 4. okay, they have simplified finally. Okay, so now if you see this root 3 cancels this square root of 3 times. Okay, so you have an I, so root 3 by 4 I plus I times of root 3 into root 3, this is 3 by 4 I. Okay, so this is 4 I. Now you can simplify this slightly. So if you simplify, I gets cancelled, so 3 by 4. Now if you want to have a denominator I in the numerator 1 can be written as minus I square, so you can cancel one I, so this gives you minus I times of root 3 by 4. okay, so यही होता है कि करेक्ट ऑप्शन. क्लियर? So आज पार्शियल डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन का हीट और लैपलेस करेंगे. यस, डेफिनेटली आई हैव केप्ट सम क्वेश्चंस ऑन हीट इक्वेशन. ओके, so we'll solve them. Clear? So 3 by 4 minus I times of root 3 by 4. So 3 by 4 minus I times of root 3 by 4 is the correct answer. Clear? अगर आपको कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स में इस लॉजिक पता है तो immediately you can identify that it is 0 by 0 form. So if you apply L'Hospital within 2-3 steps or 4 steps maximum, you can apply. It is very you can basically apply this and you can get the answer. Clear? So सभी को पता है ना अब कैसे करना है ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया तो. ठीक है, so shall we go for the next question? Okay, so type in the chat box. Shall we go for the next question? सब ठीक है ना इस क्वेश्चन में, कोई गड़बड़ नहीं है ना? So let's go for the next question. Okay, yeah, ये बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन था एक्चुअली डायगोनलाइजेशन कॉन्सेप्ट से. Okay, so see here, fine. Let I denote the identity matrix of order 7 and A be a 7 by 7 real matrix having characteristic polynomial CA of lambda. Obviously अगर मैट्रिक्स 7th ऑर्डर है तो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक पॉलिनोमियल भी 7th डिग्री पॉलिनोमियल आते हैं ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई लैम्डा स्क्वायर इनटू लैम्डा माइनस 1 होल पावर अल्फा इनटू लैम्डा प्लस 2 होल पावर बीटा. ठीक है, दिस इज लैम्डा प्लस 2 होल पावर बीटा where alpha and beta are positive integers. If A is diagonalizable, so matrix A is diagonalizable. मतलब what is the meaning of diagonalizable? अगर आपने मैट्रिक्स ए का आइगन वेक्टर्स कैलकुलेट किया तो ये सभी आइगन वेक्टर्स लीनियरली इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाएगा. ओके, सो मैट्रिक्स इज डायगोनलाइजेबल. सो अगर ओके, सो व्हाई एक्स मैथ्स इज सो हार्ड? आईआईटी प्रोफेसर्स को पूछो यार. सर प्लीज गो ए बिट स्लो. या डेफिनेटली. कैन वी यूज एक्स स्कोर फॉर निटी एडमिशन? यस, यू कैन यूज. ओके, सो now if you see this is A diagonalizable. Now if this is diagonalizable, then here if you see rank of A is equal to n. n क्या होता है? Size of the matrix. Okay, so n minus algebraic multiplicity of algebraic multiplicity of 0 as an eigenvalue. 0 as an eigenvalue. Okay, so a algebraic multiplicity क्या होता है actually? Look, MDM inverse, what is this? Inverse, I didn't get this, but like in, okay, so for diagonalizable rank should be n or what? Only then linearly independent. Rank, this eigenvector should be linearly independent. That's the only condition for the rank should be for actually the matrix to be diagonalizable. Clear? Rank need not be equal to n. Okay, so even eigenvalues which have 0 as an eigenvalue can be diagonalizable. Clear? बहुत सारे लोग ये समझते हैं कि अगर आइगन वैल्यू 0 हो तो मैट्रिक्स मैट्रिक्स इट कैन नॉट बी डायगोनलाइजेबल, बट दैट नीड नॉट बी द केस. फॉर सम मैट्रिसेस इवन इफ देयर इज आइगन वैल्यू ऑफ 0 द मैट्रिक्स इज स्टिल डायगोनलाइजेबल. ओके, मेन कंडीशन ये होता है कि आइगन वेक्टर्स लीनियरली इंडिपेंडेंट होना चाहिए बस. ओके, ठीक है. सर डायगोनलाइजेबल एक्सप्लेन करना. ओके, सो बेसिकली फॉर नाउ प्लीज टेक दिस रिजल्ट्स बिकॉज टाइम बहुत कम है. अगर आपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ा है तो बहुत it takes a lot of time actually. Okay, so I'll explain what is repeated eigenvalue. So repeated this basically what do you say, algebraic multiplicity. Okay, so algebraic multiplicity is nothing but number of times the eigenvalue comes. Okay, means basically if you see, let us suppose when you solve this equation equal to 0, let us suppose you are getting 1 4 times. Okay, then we say algebraic multiplicity of this eigenvalue is 4. Clear? So सबको पता है ना अभी eigenvalues का algebraic multiplicity क्या होता है. अगर किसी आइगन वैल्यू ने एक बार लेट अस सपोज हियर 1 is coming for 4 times, then in that case we say algebraic multiplicity of 1 is actually 4. Clear? Algebraic multiplicity is nothing but number of times the actual means number of times the eigenvalue occurs in a characteristic when you solve a characteristic equation. Clear? Okay, so that's what we say algebraic multiplicity. Is this Cayley-Hamilton theorem are they similar? No, Cayley-Hamilton theorem is something simple and very easy. Okay, and that's something different. Now main thing is repetition of eigenvalue. Okay, number of times the eigenvalue occurs is called the algebraic multiplicity of that particular eigenvalue. Clear? So now if you see this 0 as an eigenvalue, now tell me one thing, if this is the characteristic equation, then in that case what could be the algebraic multiplicity of 0 here? So please tell me. Rank of A is size is 7 minus, if you equate this equation to 0, how many times you get 0 as an eigenvalue in this? If you equate this equation to 0, how many times you get alpha is lambda is equal to 0? 2 times, na? Because there is 2 on the top of lambda. Okay, so this is nothing but lambda minus 0 whole square. So if you solve, lambda is equal to 0 will come 2 times. So that means algebraic multiplicity of this eigenvalue is actually 2. Okay, so that's why this is equal to 2. So rank of A is equal to 5. Now याद दिया कि rank of A is equal to rank of A plus 2i. Okay, so rank of A is equal to rank of A plus 2i. And one thing that we know from this equation, that this should be a 7th degree polynomial. Therefore alpha plus beta इसका value क्या होता है 5 है ना. So alpha plus beta value will also be 5 because this is a 7th degree polynomial. So if this is a 7th degree polynomial, this is 2, so alpha plus beta should be 5. Okay, now rank of A is equal to rank of A plus 2i. This means 5 is equal to, because rank of A is 5 हमें calculate किया था, so this is 7 minus algebraic multiplicity of 0 as eigenvalue in A plus 2i actually here. Okay, so because here this is in A, because we are calculating rank of A. Here if you want to calculate rank of A plus 2i, 7 minus algebraic multiplicity of 0 as eigenvalue in this matrix. Okay, now first of all tell me one thing. Let us suppose if lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and so on are eigenvalues, for example, of some equation f of lambda is equal to 0. Okay, now if you see, and this is matrix A for example. Okay, now for if matrix A has eigenvalues of lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and so on, हमको पता है कि A plus 2i का eigenvalues क्या होता है, lambda 1 plus 2, lambda 2 plus 2, lambda 2 plus lambda 3 plus 2 and so on, है ना, ये eigenvalues होता है. Now if these are the roots of some equation, that equation will be nothing but f of lambda minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, this is one very fundamental point that you see in plus 11 or maybe in engineering first year. If you read BS gravel book, easily you can identify that. Look, I'll give you one hint. Let us suppose if you have roots, for example. Okay, so let us suppose you know that, let us suppose if 2, 3 are roots of any equation, the equation is x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, है ना. Now let us suppose if you increase each root by 1, let us suppose if you increase each root by 1, then the roots become 3, 4, correct. And हमको पता है कि quadratic equation with these roots is nothing but this is equal to 0. You can also get this in another time, in another way, that look, here you have increased the roots by plus 1, है ना, आपने दोनों roots को plus 1 करके 3, 4 लाया. So if you want this equation, what you have to do is, since you have increased the roots by 1, in this equation you have to put x minus 1 in place of x. Okay, so अगर इस equation में हमें x के place में x minus 1 substitute किया तो minus 5 times of x minus 1 plus 6 is equal to 0. So if you solve this, x square minus 2x plus 1 minus 5x plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 0. So अगर आपने solve किया तो x square minus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. Okay, so this equation comes like that. Okay, so if you are increasing roots by some positive value, then the polynomial should be obtained by substituting x minus 1 actually. Okay, similarly here, if these are the roots of f of lambda is equal to 0, then if you increase the roots by 2, then you have to place lambda minus 2 in place of lambda. So is this clear to all of you? Did you understand this point? Did you understand this point actually? Clear? So please type in the chat box, did you all understand this point? If you want some equation whose roots are some scalar addition of some other roots, then you should actually subtract that. Okay, okay, clear? Did everyone understand? Each and everyone should understand this technique. Okay, because I'm going to make it short. Okay, so that's why. So here if you see, now tell me one thing, they have given a plus 2i, है ना. So अगर इफ ए का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक इक्वेशन या लैम्डा स्क्वेयर इंटू लैम्डा माइनस 2 होल पावर अल्फा इंटू लैम्डा प्लस 2 lambda plus lambda minus 1 whole power and lambda plus 2. Okay, so this is minus 1 actually, lambda minus 1 whole power alpha into lambda plus 2 whole power beta. Let us suppose if this is characteristic polynomial. सर हिंदी प्लीज नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ओके, सो मैंने बोला कि अगर आपको रूट्स 2 इंक्रीज करना है तो इस लैम्डा के प्लेस में लैम्डा माइनस 2 सब्स्टिट्यूट करके इक्वेशन को कैलकुलेट करना है. ठीक है, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग. सो a plus 2y will be something like, if you see a plus 2y will have the roots increased by 2, so that's why in this equation in place of lambda I have to keep lambda minus 2. Okay, so lambda minus 2 whole square into lambda minus 2 minus 1 whole power alpha into lambda minus 2 plus 2 whole power beta. So this will be the characteristic polynomial of a plus 2y. Clear? So this will be the characteristic polynomial of a plus 2y. Okay, సార్ మీ ఎంఈలో అరౌండ్ 50 మార్క్స్ వస్తే ఐఐటి వచ్చుద్దా అండి? డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ యువర్ కేటగిరీ వెంకట్. ఓకే, నీ కేటగిరీ మీద డిపెండ్ అవుతుంది. ఫైన్. సో లెట్ us continue here. So lambda minus 2 whole square, so this will be the characteristic equation. So this is lambda minus 2 whole square into lambda minus 3 whole power beta, sorry alpha, into, now minus 2 plus 2 gets cancelled, so lambda power beta. So this is what the characteristic equation. Okay, now if you see, if this is the characteristic equation of a plus 2y, then try to understand this. Rank of a plus 2y is equal to rank of a, which is 5, of course we know, and rank of a plus 2y is nothing but 7 minus rank algebraic multiplicity of 0. Look, if you equate this equation to 0, how many times you will get lambda is equal to 0 as a root of this equation? So please tell me, if you equate this equation to 0, how many times you get lambda is equal to 0 as an eigenvalue, as a root of this equation basically? Beta times, correct? Because there is lambda power beta. So lambda minus 0 whole power beta is there. So that's why if you equate this equation to 0, you will get lambda is equal to 0 as an eigenvalue for beta times. Okay, so that's why this 7 minus beta is equal to 5. So this implies beta is equal to 2 actually here. Okay, so beta is equal to 2. So if beta is equal to 2, this implies alpha is equal to 3. क्यों? हमको पता है कि अल्फा प्लस बीटा का वैल्यू 5 होना चाहिए. सो अगर बीटा का वैल्यू 2 है तो अल्फा वैल्यू 3 होना चाहिए, करेक्ट? सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस अल्फा इज 2 and this alpha is 3 and beta is 2. So are you all clear till this point? So please type in the chat box. Are you all clear till this point? So please type in the chat box. Are you all clear till this particular point? Okay, now if this is clear, then one thing is very clear. Your characteristic polynomial CA of lambda is equal to lambda square lambda minus 1 whole power alpha, correct? So lambda minus 1 whole power alpha. So alpha value is 3. So lambda minus 1 whole power alpha, lambda plus 2, lambda minus 2 or plus 2, lambda plus 2 whole power beta. So beta is 2. So this is the characteristic polynomial of lambda. Okay, now if you see this is the characteristic polynomial of lambda, then what they are asking finally in the question, rank of a minus I. Okay, so what could be rank of a minus I actually here? Look, if you want rank of a minus I, first of all, eigenvalues of a minus I will be lambda minus 1, lambda 2 minus 2 and so on, correct? Lambda 2 minus 1, lambda 3 minus 1 and so on. Okay, so if a minus I का lambda values a eigenvalue से 1 कम होता है तो what will be the characteristic polynomial of lambda a minus I? A minus I, characteristic polynomial of a minus I is, look, normally if the roots are decreased by 1, then you have to write lambda plus 1 in place of lambda, correct? So if you write lambda plus 1 whole square into lambda plus 1 minus 1 whole cube into lambda minus 1 lambda plus 1 plus 2 whole square. So this gives you a characteristic equation of lambda plus 1 whole square, 1 gets cancelled, lambda cube into lambda plus 3 whole square. Okay, so this is the characteristic equation of a minus I. Okay, so here this characteristic equation of a minus I is given by this term lambda plus 1 whole square into lambda cube plus lambda plus 3 whole square. Okay, so if you want rank of a minus I, this is 7 minus, because 7 is size of the matrix, that does not change, minus. Now if you equate this equation to 0, how many times you'll get 0 as an eigenvalue? So please tell me, if you equate this equation to 0, how many times you'll get equation? How many times you get this 0 as an eigenvalue in this question, in this equation? 3 times, है ना? So this is 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Therefore, rank of A minus I is equal to 4. Okay. So this is what you get. This is actually not a lengthy question. It's a very simple question actually. I took time to make you understand this concept of replacing lambda with lambda minus 2, replacing lambda with lambda plus 1. If you see that, see, once you know this concept, directly you know rank of A is 5. Then similarly, you will write this equation at the second step and you will write this equation at the third step. Okay, so within 3-4 steps, you will get the answer if you know this concept thoroughly. Clear? Okay. Look, in this question, I took time in making you understand that if roots increase by 2 or if roots decrease by 1, what to replace in place of lambda. Okay, so I took time in explaining this. Okay, otherwise if I know this concept directly, solving this question will take only 1-2 minutes, hardly in exam. So I took 7 by 7 matrix and filled eigenvalues in diagonal elements with 2 zeros, 3 ones and 2 minus 2 and got answer. I just matched it with condition. But actually, before solving this, how do you know you have to keep 3 here? Okay, did you get my question? Before solving this, okay, before getting this, here we got alpha equal to 3. So without doing this, how do you know that you have to keep only 3 ones exactly? That is just one of the possibility. Okay, and luckily you got the correct answer, but people may not exactly keep 3 ones actually. Okay, it can be 1 and 4 also, na, because whatever the tile you have done, you can keep only 1 1 and 4 minus 2s. Okay, so that is just one of the possibilities that you got. Okay, but anyhow, this is the correct way to solve this question. Clear? Okay, so this is the way to solve this question, and this is one very good question that gives you concept of diagonalization of matrices and basically rank. Okay, relation between rank and this algebraic multiplicity of 0 eigenvalue. Fine. So 4 is the correct answer. Okay, so basically this is one very standard formula that you use in matrices. Okay, so whenever I get time, normally I have to explain you this formula, how it comes and all, I have to teach something called eigenspaces. Okay, which is not let us not deal it now, because both side questions become naive. So okay, so we will do this. Okay, for some time please keep this formula in mind. Okay, whatever is the matrix here, the matrix should be same here. Okay, if this is A plus 2y, this also should be A plus 2y. So depending on A plus 2y, your characteristic polynomial will change. Okay, so that's what you need. Fine. So let us go for the next question. So solve this question. Good evening, Appan. So solve this question. Come on, join the session. So solve this. X be a random variable with probability density function f of t is equal to e power minus t for t greater than or equal to 0, 0 for t less than 0. Let 0 less than a less than b, then the probability p of x less than or equal to b given x greater than or equal to a depends only on one of these terms. So you have to identify what could be the correct answer. Okay, so solve this question and tell me the answer. Solve this question and tell me the answer actually. Okay, so let us solve this question. F of t is equal to e power minus t, t greater than or equal to 0, 0 if t less than 0. Okay, then in that case 0 less than a less than b, of course. If 0 less than a less than b, what is the probability that x less than or equal to b given x is actually greater than or equal to a? So this is conditional probability straight away. So now if you see, this is nothing but p of a by b. We know this condition, p of a by b for the conditional probability. So this is p of a intersection b divided by p of b. Okay, now if you see this, p of x less than or equal to b intersection x greater than or equal to a divided with, so this divided with p of this divided with p of x greater than or equal to a. Okay, so now tell me one thing, a is less than b, so this is nothing but x less than or equal to b intersection x greater than or equal to a. So can I write this as p of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b divided by p of x greater than or equal to a. Okay, Now this is an exponential function. So what is the probability that a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b? This is nothing but integral a to b, this probability density function e power minus t dt divided by p of x greater than a. So x can go from a to infinity e power minus t dt. So this value, what is the variable on which this value depends? Okay, so you can clearly see it depends on a and b, so combination, but there are two options involving a and b combination. So let us check this. Integral a to b e power minus t dt divided by integral a to infinity e power minus t dt. So this is integration of this quantity is e power minus t divided by minus 1 within the limits a to b divided by e power minus t by minus 1 within the limits a to infinity. Okay, so minus 1 gets cancelled. So e power minus b minus e power minus a divided by e power minus infinity is 0 minus e power minus a is what you get. Okay, so if you cancel one e power minus a, so basically if you cancel one e power, okay, if using this minus sign we can write e power minus a minus e power minus b divided by e power minus a actually here. Okay, so if you do this, if you cancel e power minus a, then there comes a division with e power minus a here. Okay, so this gives you 1 minus e power a minus b. So this can be written as e power minus b minus a. Okay, so now if you see, this minus is actually a constant. So if minus is actually a constant, then it depends on this quantity which is b minus a. Okay, so here we have the first option. This is correct answer. Okay, very simple question. Meet author, what is geometric multiplicity? Basically it's depending on null space dimensions. Okay, so okay, I'll do one thing. I'll put a question on geometric multiplicities in tomorrow's session. Okay, tomorrow or day after tomorrow we have some abhyas, so in that I'll put one question on geometric multiplicities. Okay, basically it is nothing but the null space dimension of the characteristic polynomial, so we'll see that. Okay, so A is correct answer. Yes, of course, A is actually the correct answer. Fine, so let us solve this question. Newton's Lagrange's interpolation. Okay, so Lagrange's interpolation basically in the syllabus. Now let us see what is interpolation. Okay, so just a minute here. यहाँ कुछ industries का restrictions है. Okay, so after 10 o'clock there won't be any air conditioning here, so that's why. Okay, so see here, p of x is this polynomial. Okay, so a cube. So also see this question, please we shall discuss in abhyas. Yes, yesterday I have discussed one question. Okay, and tomorrow also I'll put some more questions as of series. Time will be same. Okay, same timings, we'll have this practice sessions. Okay, abhyas. Now let us see this. P of x is equal to ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. Okay, so this is the polynomial. Look, what is interpolation is basically, see carefully here. Normally let us suppose if you conduct an experiment. Okay, so let us suppose if you conduct some experiment, some quantities you have plotted, let us say, so for example some dynamic viscosity or something time with respect to time. Let us suppose if you take a eupectic fluid for example, and let us suppose with time it is changing. Okay, now in this case what happens is, let us suppose when you conduct experiment you got different points. What we try to do is, we will try to fit all these points using some curve actually. Okay, some curve. So for this curve, Newton and Lagrange's, they have given some interpolation formulas depending on which you can calculate this function. Okay, so eta, which is function of t, can be calculated. Okay, so once you get this function, then you can calculate this quantity at some unknown value of time. Okay, because it's not possible that you can calculate this dynamic viscosity at every time interval. So what we do is, we generally do this interpolation, Lagrange's interpolation, and then we will try to identify the time at which we will try to identify the dynamic viscosity at some desired time, which is not generated by sensors actually. Okay, so that's what we can do. Now if you see what is the interpolation that they have given you, let us suppose if you have four points for example like this, x0, y0, x1, y1. Normally for a cubic polynomial we need 4 points. So how many they have given you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fine, they have given 4. Good. x3, y3. Okay, so minimum you should have 4 points to generate a cubic polynomial in interpolation techniques. Okay, so minimum you should have 4 points. Okay, so please explain difference between probability and expectation. Probability is happening of an event in one given trial. Expectation is when you conduct large number of experiments, what could be the average number of successes is called expectation. Okay, fine. सर मुझे पढ़ा दो. अरे जोबर, yesterday I have told you ना that right now, you cannot, you feel little difficult to understand these things. So after some time I'll teach that. Okay. Pavan, so what is the exact name of Telegram group where I can find the PDF? Yesterday I think some of you are not able to join. I have talked to the team. So in the bottom there are links. Okay, so you can join in those links. Okay, so basically there is one link for the Telegram group, so you can click that, automatically you can join from your mobile. Okay, so anyway, now if you see this, what is the interpolation that generated for these points actually? Okay, so P of X is equal to means the polynomial which can be generated using these 4 points is given by this term y0 into x minus x1, x minus x2, x minus x3 divided by x0 minus x1 into x0 minus x2 into x0 minus x3 plus y1 into x minus x0, x minus x2 into x minus x3 divided by, normally this is a little bit lengthy to write, but normally in Excel and all we can generate this polynomials very easily. Okay, so x1 minus x0, x1 minus x2, x1 minus x3 plus y2 times of x minus x0, x minus x1, x minus x3 divided by x2 minus x0, x2 minus x1, x2 minus x3. Okay, so this is what you get, plus the last term will be something like this, y3 times of x minus x0 into x minus x1 into x minus x2 divided by x3 minus x0, x3 minus x1, x3 minus x2. Okay, so this is what you have here. Okay, so this is the expression for generating this polynomial actually. Okay, so this is the expression for calculating this. Okay, so basically this is the polynomial. Okay, what is the exact name of Telegram group? I have answered. By Q I have this jobber. Fine, so this is what you have here. Clear? So this is the polynomial. Now if you write these points given at x is equal to 0, polynomial is minus 8. Basically these are the points here, 0 comma minus 8. Okay, and what is the other point? Polynomial is passing to 1 comma minus 7, 1 comma minus 7, 2 comma minus 6, 4 comma 20. Okay, so these are the points to which the polynomial is passing. Okay, so if you know this formula, okay, this I have written just for your understanding, but let us suppose if you know this formula for example, then in that case if these are the points, you can directly write the polynomial P of X is equal to y0, so minus 8 into x minus 0, so x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 4, this term divided by 0 minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 4. Okay, so this is what you get here, plus y2 minus 7 into x minus x0, so x minus x2, x minus 2, x minus 4 divided by 1 minus 0, 1 minus 2 minus 1, 1 minus 4 minus 3, then plus y3 minus 6 times of x into x minus 1 into x minus 4 divided by 2 minus 0, 2, 2 minus 1, 1, 2 minus 4 minus 2. Okay, so this is what you have, plus last term 20 times of x into x minus 1 into x minus 2 divided by 4 minus 0, 4 into 4 minus 1, 3 into 4 into 2, 2. So this is basically the polynomial. Okay, now you have to just calculate simplify this equation, that's it. Okay, so if you simplify this equation, you will get the polynomial. Clear? So basically if you know this technique, the first step that you write in the exam is actually, after writing these points, the first step you will write is this function actually. Okay, so now if you see, if you can simplify this, let us see to what extent we can simplify. This minus 8 can be cancelled with this minus 2, minus 4 and minus 1. Correct? This becomes minus 8 actually here. Then this is minus 7 by 3, then 2 cancels this 3 times actually, and this minus and minus gets cancelled, then 4 cancels this 5 times actually. Okay, so 4 cancels this 5 times. Okay, so these are the things that you have. So p of x is equal to x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 4. Now minus, so you can see this is minus 7 by plus 3, so minus 7 by 3 times of x into x minus 2 into x minus 4 is what you write. Then here if you see, there is one 2 here and there is one 3 here, so plus 3 by 2 times of plus 3 by 2 times of plus 3 by 2 times of x into x minus 1 into x minus 4 is what you have. Then plus 5 by 6 times of x into x minus 1 into x minus 2. So this is the polynomial. Okay, so you need not simplify this completely. Okay, look, if you see this is the polynomial, now you want, then this polynomial is passing to 20. Okay, then you have to get the coefficients values. Okay, so if you want to get coefficients values, okay, so what we can do actually here, okay, so let us simplify directly. Okay, so if you simplify directly, then let's see what comes out. If you see this, x square minus 3x plus 2, the product of these two is x square minus 3x plus 2. So if you multiply here, then x cube minus 3x square plus 2x minus 4x square plus 12x minus 8. Okay, then minus 7 by 3 times of cube of this equation, x square minus 6x plus 8. So x cube minus 6x square plus 8x plus 3 by 2 times of x into x minus 1. So this is x cube minus 5x square plus 4x plus 5 by 6 times of x cube minus 3x square plus 2x. Okay, so this is what you get actually here. Okay, now if you simplify this, then okay, so this is equal to x cube minus 7 by 3 plus 3 by 2 plus 5 by 6. Okay, so all these coefficients are there basically here. So if you see, x cube coefficients will be 1. Okay, so first of all, rather than writing all the coefficients, let us focus on only those coefficients what they are asking. Okay, a, b, c. Okay, so they don't want the constant term, they want the coefficients a, b and c. Okay, so a is coefficient of x cube, b is coefficient of x square and c is coefficient of x. So a minus b plus c. Okay, so what is coefficient of x cube here? If you see, a minus b plus c is equal to 1 minus 7 by 3, then plus 3 by 2 plus 5 by 6. So these are the coefficients of x cube, which is a actually here, minus, now b is nothing but coefficient of x square. So minus 3 minus 4 minus 7 minus 7 by 3 into minus 6. Okay, so basically if you see, plus 7 by 3 into 6 plus, this is minus actually, so minus 15 by 2, then minus 15 by 6 actually here. Okay, so minus 15 by 6. So this is coefficient of x square. Then a minus b plus c actually. Okay, so what is plus c actually here? So plus c, what is c? C is coefficient of x. So 2 plus 12, 14 minus 7 by 3 into 8. So minus 7 8 are 56. So 56 by 3 plus 3 4s are 12. So 12 by 2 plus 5 2s are 10. So 10 by 6. This is basically the value what they want. Okay, you have to simplify this, that's what you want. Okay, look, whenever they ask you for the polynomial coefficient, then there is no shortcut. Okay, you have to spend some time. Okay, so in exam, if you do carefully, you need some 4 to 5 minutes to solve this complete question. Okay, or maximum 6 minutes. So this question, because that year remaining questions were slightly simple. Okay, so that's why we have this. Now if you simplify this, let us see what we can get. This is 2. Okay, and minus 15 by 2 minus 15 by 6 anyhow. So basically here this is 1 6. Okay, so these are the things that you have here. Okay, now let us see what you can cancel out. Basically 15, this is 5 by 6, right? So that is 56 by 3, 10 by 6, so 5 by 6. Okay, so this can, again, if you cancel with 3 table, 2 times and 5 times. Okay, so 5 by 2. So basically you have to calculate this value, that's it. Okay, so if you calculate directly using a calculator, okay, so let us suppose if you directly calculate, you will get the answer. Okay, so let us directly calculate this value, because we have advantage of calculator. So let us do directly. 1 minus 7 by 3, where is calculator? Just a minute. Let us take a help of calculator because directly we can do. Fine. Okay. So now, okay. So let us see this. 1 minus 7 by 3. 1 minus 7 by 3. Okay. So 1 minus 7 by 3 plus 3 by 2 plus 3 by 2 plus 3 by 2 plus 5 by 6 plus 5 by 6 directly. Okay. So plus 5 by 6. Then minus of minus 7. Okay. So basically if you see minus of this is actually 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Okay. So 2 3 2 7s are 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. So minus 7 minus 7 plus. Okay. So again minus of minus plus 15 by 2 is plus 7.5 plus 7.5 actually plus 7.5. Then minus 2.5. So minus of minus is plus again. So plus 2.5. So plus 2.5 actually here. Okay. So till here it is 4. So till this value it is 4. Then 14 plus 6 is 20 actually. So 4 last term 4 plus 14 plus 6 is 20. 20 minus 56 by 3 plus 10 by 6. Okay. So let us see what is going to be this value. 4 plus 20 minus first of all. So 20 minus 56 by 3. 56 by 3 plus 10 by 6. Okay. So we have 10 by 6 right now. So we have 10 by 6 correct. So this value is 3. So till here we got 4. So 4 plus 3 is 7 actually. Okay. So plus 4. So 3 plus 4 it is basically 7 is what we actually need. Okay. Many times what people do is they try to spend some time in calculating the polynomial actually. Okay. So here if you see we have calculated the polynomial but we did not simplify. Okay. Direct we have taken the terms which are of interest and we have calculated the value actually. Okay. So basically in exam once you write this, these 3 steps are very crucial, and then these 3 steps should be like these 3 steps are like it has to be done with little carefully. Okay. After direct substitution you are doing, okay, for 0 greater than d is equal to minus 8, for 1 is equal to a plus b plus c. Yeah, basically in that case also you will get 4 equations with 4 unknowns. You have to solve for that. Okay, clear? Because in this polynomial if you keep, okay, so we'll get 4 equations and 4 unknowns. We have to solve that in that. Okay, then also we have to solve 4 equations. Okay, but this is actually the correct technique, because sometimes what happens in case of interpolation, the exact results and the final result may not match. Okay, because interpolation is a numerical technique, so they come very closely. Okay, just a minute. Fine. Okay, now I hope it's clear. Fine, because in the question they have just given directly it is you should use Lagrange's interpolation. Okay, so that's why I have used Lagrange's interpolation. Clear? This dividend difference method last year I taught in paid batches of some other place. So but it's okay right now. If you know this technique, to just give you this formula, because this is one of the frequently asked. Okay, so we have done some simplification, then 2-3 steps we have written here. 2 steps actually in this in exam. Actually if you write on paper it takes some less time, so you have to add the coefficients little carefully. That's it. Okay, okay, both the methods give same. Okay, same answer. Now if you see, so this answer is 7.5. So this is slightly lengthy question because interpolations will be like this. Okay, manually to do interpolations you take a lot of time. Okay, but normally interpolations are done using Excel and all. Okay, once you have the data, then you will try to plot and then you will try to fit the equation. Okay, so that can be done directly without that. Okay, handbook of engineering maths is very helpful. Thank you. So let us solve this question. Number of critical points of the function f of x comma y. Number of critical points of the function f of x comma y is equal to x cube plus 3xy square minus 15x minus 12y, at which there is neither maximum nor minimum. Of course that is called critical point actually. So that's why if you see this, in this case basically how to score 6 marks in XCA. Okay, so basically if you follow some commonly questions coming chapters like calculus or matrices and then probability numerical methods, small number of differential equations, you will easily get marks. Okay, so now if you see, so basically we want the critical point. So what is the critical point? Actually, we know, look, what is this point called? Have you seen any time? What is this point called actually? What is this point called? If pressure versus volume, if you plot, for example, quantum flexure, thermodynamics, go to thermodynamics. So tell me the answer. What is that point called? Critical point, है ना? So that is critical point, correct? So what is critical point? Basically, at this location, your first derivative at constant isotherm is 0 and second derivative or an isotherm is also 0 basically here. Okay, so the same concept what we use there. Okay, so basically by equating those two we calculate the compressibility factor of real gases. Okay, so but anyhow, so that's inflection point also. Okay, it's also called inflection point in two-dimensional case. Okay, so basically if you see, this pressure will depend on volume and temperatures, so we take this two partial derivatives is equal to 0. So similarly here, first of all, if you see, to calculate critical points, this first derivative and second derivative both should be 0 actually. Okay, so rather than second derivative being 0, there is one particular condition that has to be obeyed. Okay, so let us see here. F of x comma y is equal to this. So first of all, dou f by dou x, if you calculate this, 3x square plus 3y square minus 15 is equal to 0, correct? So this is what you get, 3x square plus 3y square minus 15 is equal to 0. Similarly, if you calculate dou f by dou y, this is equal to 6xy minus 12 is equal to 0, correct? If you do dou f by dou y, then you will get 6xy is the partial derivative of this term minus 12 is equal to 0. So from this equation you can get one thing, xy is equal to 2 actually here. Okay, so xy is equal to 2, xy product is equal to 2, and 3x square plus 3y square minus 15 is equal to 0. So now if you solve these two equations, because normally in single variable calculus, if you want stationary points, if it's directly equal to, अगर आपने first derivative equal किया तो x का values आता है, so वो values directly stationary points हो जाएगा. लेकिन in two variables आप दोनों partial derivatives calculate करके उन partial derivatives को equal to 0 करना है. Okay, yes, we have to use r square minus st. Okay, so we'll see what is this r square minus st and all. Okay, I write s square minus rt minus s square basically. So now if you see this case, now xy is equal to 2 and this is a hyperbola and this is actually some circle. Okay, so this equation is identical to x square plus, okay, let us not write this because there is a chance that you can commit mistake at later stage. Okay, so this, let us suppose if you have this, then how to calculate the stationary points? Therefore 3x square plus 3y square. So what is the value of y square? Actually y square can be written as 4 by x square minus 15 is equal to 0. So you have to solve this equation. Okay, so if you want to solve this equation, you can have a technique. 3 gets cancelled and this is 5 anyhow. Let x square is equal to t. Okay, then this equation becomes t square plus 4 by t minus 5 is equal to 0. So this implies t square minus 5t plus 4 is equal to 0 actually here. Okay, so this equation has the roots t square is equal to 1 comma 4. Okay, so these are the roots. That means t value is equal to plus or minus 1 and t value can be equal to plus or minus 4 actually here. Okay, sorry, t is equal to 1 comma 4. Sorry, t is equal to 1 comma 4. So that means t is x square. So if x square is equal to 1, then x can be either plus or minus 1 and x can be either plus or minus 2. Okay, now let us see what are the 4 stationary points basically. So 4 stationary points are what are the 4 stationary points? If you see 4 stationary points, let us suppose if x is equal to 1. Okay, so y is equal to 2 by x. Okay, now let us suppose if x is equal to 1, then y will be 2. Okay, so 1 comma 2 is one point where the first and this both the derivatives will become 0. Okay, next let us suppose if x is minus 1. Okay, if x is minus 1, y becomes minus 2. So minus 1 comma minus 2. Now let us suppose if x is equal to 2 plus 2, then y is equal to 1. So 2 comma 1. And let us suppose if x is minus 2, then y becomes minus 1. Okay, So -2 comma -1. So these are the 4 stationary points that you can actually get here. Okay, so these are the 4 stationary points that you can actually get here. Now out of these 4 stationary points, we have to check the conditions for maxima and minima using this second derivative test. Okay, so what is second derivative test? R is equal to dou square f by dou x square. So dou square f by dou x square का value कितना होता है? Dou square f. So this is the dou f by dou x. If you differentiate it one more time, dou square f by dou x square. So this becomes 6x. Okay, so 6x. Yes is dou square f by dou x dou y, or it can be dou y dou x also, doesn't matter. So now this is equal to, you have dou f by dou y as 6xy minus 12. If you differentiate it with respect to x, once again you get 6y. And t is dou square f by dou y square. Okay, so this is dou square f by dou y square. So if you differentiate this partially with respect to y, you get 6x again. Okay, now this is r, this is t. So now if you see rt minus s square, this value has to be less than 0 for critical point. Okay, for critical points. For critical points. Clear? For calculating the critical points, your rt minus s square value should be actually less than 0. Okay, so rt minus s square value should be less than 0. So if rt minus s square has to be less than 0, what is rt minus s square? Rt minus s square is actually equal to 6x into 6x minus 6y whole square actually. Okay, so this is 36 minus x square minus y square. This quantity should be less than 0. Now out of those 4 points which are stationary points, what are the points at which x square minus y square is less than 0? Okay, so basically this implies x square minus y square should be less than 0. This implies mod of x should be less than magnitude of y actually here. Okay, so this can happen only in the first 2 options. Okay, so that's why these two points are the only 2 points at which there is no maxima or minima. Basically there is a critical points here in this case. Okay, so that's why if you see, this implies points are critical points are -1 comma -2 and 1 comma 2 actually here. Okay, so in these 2 cases you will get this equation getting satisfied. Okay, this inequality gets satisfied actually. If at these 2 points this is actually greater than 1, then depending on the situation they can have either maxima or minima. Okay, so but these are the 2 points at which the differentiation is 0, but actually your the function doesn't have any maximum or minimum value at that point. Okay, so that's what we have. Clear? So basically how many points? 2 points are there, correct? There are 2 critical points, so that's why there are 2 critical points. XC का मैथ्स JEE एडवांस्ड मैथ्स की याद दिल है यहाँ. Previously when I was doing my MTech, I used to teach JEE advanced maths actually. Okay, so last part alone repeat, sir. Yeah, so basically in this, if normally this is the condition for getting the critical point actually. Okay, so we have r t s. So rt minus s square value होता है कि 6x into 6x minus 6y whole square. So this has to be less than 0. So x square minus y square has to be less than 0. Clear? Okay, Ashwin? Got it? Okay, fine. So basically the correct answer is it has 2 inflection points. Okay, so next question. Yes, there came the question of heat equation. Okay, while doing MTech you are part-time teacher also. Yes, I used to teach at that time. Okay, fine. So now heat equation. Okay, so let us see. Thanks Hitik Astogi. Okay, so this is actually heat equation. Okay, so आप सबको पता है ना? All of you are from mechanical or some other branches? Is there anyone from some other branch? Okay, so nothing, no? Fine. So let us see here. Basically mechanical. Okay, mechanical, right? So then I can explain you some story right now. Normally if you take the heat equation, what happens? polymer science. Okay, I'll just give you equation. Okay, so for whoever is from other branches, just feel that this is one partial differential equation. That's it. Okay, look, b square minus 4ac parabolic, that's all fine. Okay, but like in heat equation, you know what comes out from the heat equation and what is actually atmospheric branch. Okay, good, no issue. You can, for all of you people, consider this is just one equation. Okay, others mechanical, whoever is from mechanical, I'll try to explain you why this is the equation. Okay, see here. Okay, so now if you see, we know dou square t by dou x square plus dou square t by dou y square plus dou square t by dou z square plus volumetric heat generation rate divided by thermal conductivity. Of course, I am assuming isotropic materials, all these things. Okay, so this is 1 by thermal diffusivity into dou T by dou T actually here. Okay, so this is the general heat conduction equation in 3 dimensions. Okay, so आप सबको ये पता है ना? I didn't get Kritika, I didn't get the second lecture of this lecture series. Yeah, I think in the same YouTube channel you can actually find the link. Okay, if you click live, you can see lecture number 2. Okay, no issue. Now if you see, this is the general heat conduction equation, but of course यहाँ condition है कि isotopic material है ना. So let us suppose if you deal the simple case of one dimensional no heat generation case, no heat generation unsteady case, for example. Okay, so this is unsteady case, for example. Then whenever there is no heat generation, this is 0, and whenever it is only one dimensional, these two terms goes to 0. So your equation becomes alpha times of dou square t by dou x square is equal to dou t by dou t. Okay, so this is how your equation turns out actually. Okay, so now if you see, basically alpha times of dou square t by dou, alpha is of course thermal diffusivity and all. I'll explain you what is the significance of alpha, why alpha is very important, all these things some other time. Okay, because there are students from other branches. So now if you see, and anyhow Xe don't have heat transfer, so we will talk about this alpha at some time later. So now if you see this, alpha times of dou square t by dou x square is equal to dou t by dou t. So this is the equation. Okay, so if this is the equation, this equation is same as that. Okay, so alpha into dou square u by dou x square is equal to dou u by dou t. Okay, now basically, you know, heat transfer is actually a partial differential equation, because if you take a bar, for example, if you take a bar and let us suppose if you start to heat it. Okay, if you start to heat it, let us say if there is some burner and if you start to heat it, then at this point temperature at time equal to 5 seconds and temperature at time is equal to 10 seconds will be different, correct? Because heat starts getting conducted. Similarly, at same t equal to 5 seconds, temperature at this location and at this location both are different. Okay, so that's why if I want to ask you what is the temperature at a point, I have to specify what is the time, because with respect to time temperature changes, and also I have to identify the location. So that's why temperature is actually some function of both space and time. Okay, and whenever one variable is depending on more than one independent quantity, you will get a partial differential equation. Okay, so that's why this heat transfer equations are partial differential equations. And now if you see, this is the case. Now if you see, on this bar there is a temperature u of 0 comma t. Okay, so at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to pi, this is from 0 to pi. So basically the length of the rod is pi. Okay, length of the rod is pi. So if this is the case, so clear. So if you see, okay fine, let us keep the center line, no issue. So this is x is equal to 0 and x is equal to pi. Okay, time is positive, of course time has to be positive always, there is nothing like negative time, and length of the rod is from 0 to pi. Okay, now initial this boundary conditions u of 0 comma t and u of pi comma t is equal to 0 means the temperatures of this rod at these two locations, the temperatures of this rods at these two locations is maintained 0 degrees. Okay, whatever might be the time, as long as this x is equal to 0 and x is equal to pi, ये दोनों ends पे temperature 0 रखा था. And u of x comma 0, so at time t is equal to 0, at time t is equal to 0, the variation of temperature in x is given by this function sin x plus 2 sin 4x, 2 sin 4x. Okay, now they are asking you what is the value of this temperature at x is equal to pi by 2 at time t is equal to ln 5 seconds. Okay, okay, so now if you see, this is the case. Now you want to calculate u of pi by 2 comma ln 5. So at this time of ln 5 seconds, and at this location of pi by 2, what could be the temperature? Okay, so this is what they are asking you. Clear? So did you all understand physically what these conditions mean? Okay, they have given you some conditions here. This is anyhow the standard equation or heat transfer equation, and these are the boundary conditions, and this is the initial condition. Clear? Yes or no? So please type in the chat box. Okay, now I would like to give you something. Actually, see carefully here. If you have a heat transfer equation, for example, dou square alpha times, okay, let us say c times of dou square u by dou x square is equal to dou u by dou t, with the initial conditions, of course, u of 0 comma t is equal to u of, let us say it is of some length l comma t. Okay, what is of some length l? So length comma time is equal to 0, and u of x comma 0 is basically some function of x. Okay, like how here they have given you, there will be some, initially there will be some variation of temperature in the bar. Let us suppose if you assume initial some variation, then if this is given by some variation f of x, then the solution of this u, which is function of both x comma t, is given by this solution. Okay, I'm not deriving the solution now because it's a long derivation actually. Okay, I have to go for variables, separables, then I have to show you different quantities. Okay, different cases, there will be total 3 cases. Upon the last year I think I have given you some detailed calculation of this, correct? If I'm wrong, if I am correct. Last year I have explained, I have solved this in detailed. Basically I have mentioned all the cases and all when I'm teaching detailed course, but right now I'll just basically give you the result whatever I have there. Okay, so now if you see, this u of x comma t is nothing but sigma n is equal to 1 to infinity some constant bn into sine n pi x by l into e power minus c I have taken, so c n square by pi square by l square times t. This is the solution that you will get finally. Okay, and what is the solution is this t is equal to, sorry not t, bn is equal to 2 by l times integral 0 to l f of x into sine n pi x by l dx. Okay, so this is the solution of the complete heat equation actually. Okay, normally you might have seen this in if you deal with transient conduction in normally in heat transfer in conduction chapter. If correct mathematical faculty might have taught you heat transfer, he would have shown you this profile. Okay, if you Himanshu, very lengthy equation na? But let us take this solution for now. Out of 3 cases only 1 is practically valid. I remember the story you told too. Okay, thank you. Okay, so basically there is some practicality of these conditions and all for writing these equations. Okay, so that's why at that I have taught some detailed course to them last year, so that's why I was able to teach. But right now this is the conditions. Okay, this is what you will get for the solution. Okay, now if you see, first of all let us calculate bn value. Okay, so let us calculate bn value. In this case here in this question, f of x is given. How much is given? F of x is basically sin x plus sin 4x, 2 sin 4x I think. Okay, they have given 2 times of sin 4x is what you have given you. Okay, so sin x plus 2 times of sin 4x for 0 less than x less than pi. Here L value is pi, length of the rod is actually pi, so here this is equal to, this implies bn is equal to 2 by pi into integral 0 to pi f of x is sin x plus 2 times sin 4x multiplied with sin n pi x by l, l is pi again, so dx. This is what you have here. So now if you see carefully, this pi and pi gets cancelled. So basically instead of calculating at n different nodes, okay, so we have different nodes actually. So let us suppose you can calculate at any node, let n is equal to 1. Okay, you can write this solution at any value of n, basically n equal to 1 2 3 4 5, whatever the values you take, you'll get the same solution of course. So let us suppose if you take at the first node, n is equal to 1. Okay, now if you see, b1 is equal to 2 by pi times of integral 0 to pi, so pi gets cancelled, so sin x into, if you take n equal to 1, sin x into sin x, sin square x dx plus 2 into integral 0 to pi sin 4x into sin x, or sin x into sin 4x dx. Okay, so this is what you get. This is the expression for b actually here. Okay, so if this is the expression for p, then one thing is very clear, this integration will be 0 directly. Okay, you can want, if you check directly by, if you just convert them to compound angles, you can easily understand this integration. Look, basically any expression sin ax into sin bx from 0 to pi will be 0 always. Okay, so please keep this point in mind, it could help you somewhere. 0 to pi sin ax into sin bx, when you have both signs, this will always be 0. Okay, dx of course is equal to 0. Okay, so this result is always 2. Clear? So please keep this point in mind. So this, if you see, 2 by pi into now integration of sin square x is nothing but 0 to pi, so this integration is pi by 2 actually. So this value is 1 actually. Okay, so you can write sin square x as 1 minus cos x by 2. So if you do this integration, you will get this value as pi by 2. Okay, so 2 by pi into pi by 2, so b1 is 1. Okay, so this value is 1, so you can keep 1 here. So what is u of x comma t? Therefore u of x comma t is equal to b1, which is 1, into b1 is 1. If you put n equal to 1, sin pi x by l, sin pi x by l into e power minus c का value कितना है? 2 ना. So basically in the question it is given this is 2. Okay, so 2 into n square, which is 1 square, into pi square by l square, l is also pi here, into t. Okay, so this is what you have here. Okay, so now if you simplify, pi square gets cancelled. Therefore u of x comma t is equal to this l and pi also gets cancelled, so sin x into e power minus 2t. So this is the function which is solution here. Okay, so no other option than to remember it. Basically if you know the story, then you can very easily remember this, but right now since I am giving you only formulas, you have to remember it. Okay, this is valid only for heat equation. Okay, clear? Because I'm not doing the derivation, so as of now you have to remember it, but if I do the derivation, you can easily remember this solution. Okay, then you need not spend so much time actually. Okay, but that derivation takes some 20 to 25 minutes of time, so which we cannot spare now at this point. Okay, clear? So now if you see this, now they have given you the point u of pi by 2 comma ln 5. Okay, so what is this value? So this is sin pi by 2 into e power minus 2 times of ln 5. So this can be written as sin pi by 2 is 1 anyhow, so 1 into e power, this minus 2 can be taken to the top of 5, so ln 5 power minus 2. So this is nothing but 1 by 25. So what is 1 by 25? 100 by 25 is 4, so 0.04 is the correct answer for this question. Okay, so therefore u at this location pi by 2 comma ln 5. Okay, so pi by 2 comma ln 5 is basically 0.04 is the value. Okay, so that when if you take this value as 0, then at this location of pi by 2, somewhere here at pi by 2 mid plane, this value is 0.04 is the correct answer here. Okay, this question came in 2018 actually, so heat transfer question. Okay, if you are from mechanical, then this question is much easier for you. Okay, but I am very much sure you study your conduction heat transfer only till Heisler charts and of course this Biot number analysis. Okay, lumped system analysis. After that you don't study, correct? If you study after that, then definitely you will feel this question very easy. Okay, why the period of sine decreases the area enclosed by it from x-axis also decreases? I didn't get you. When the period of sine decreases, sine is actually a constant period function of 2 pi. So how you can decrease the function, I mean period of sine? I didn't get this, Rajesh. Normally sin x is a constant, sin x is a function for which period is constant. Okay, 2 pi is the period of sine function. Okay, that is a fixed value. So how you can change that? I didn't understand basically that. Fine. Okay, so this is basically 0.04. So this is the wave solution. So once you know this solution, calculation of this integral will take some time. So once you know this, then this will take only 1-2 minutes to solve. That's it. Bn is basically this constant. Okay, so normally what happens is you split this into nodes. Okay, so first node, second node, like this. Okay, you split this into nodes basically like this. Okay, so things will be periodic about these nodes. Okay, so that needs a little bit of more analysis on Fourier series. Okay, but right now we are not doing that, of course. So this is what we have in sin x increases. Yes, of course, because if you see Ashwin Ganesh, Rajesh is asking some doubt. When period of sin x decreases, area enclosed by it from x-axis also decreases. Look, if you take sin x function from 0 to pi, the graph will be like this. Okay, now let us suppose if you take sin 2x from same 0 to pi, the graph will be something like this. At pi by 2 again it touches 0, so the function will be something like this. Okay, so basically if you see, this both areas will be same actually. Okay, because n is equal to 1 is the simple node to calculate. Okay, let us suppose if you have n is equal to 2 and all, your calculation could be little complicated here. Okay, because you would have substituted this 2 here, then again sin 2x integration, all these things. Okay, whatever might be the value of n, this is always a constant function because this multiplication will go to 0. Clear? That's why I have taken simple value at n equal to 1. Okay, normally if nothing is mentioned, you should always go for n is equal to 1 because at the first node by default we calculate the function values. Okay, yes, always we use n is equal to 1 in these questions. Fine, clear? So did you all understand how to solve the question on heat transfer, I mean this heat conduction equation actually in transient states? Okay, clear? So can we access exit test series? Now since it is not showing in app, you can access actually. Okay, so can you please clear my doubt? Ashwin, what is your doubt? Official solutions not available. Can you please help? How can I get them? First you solve till 2011. You know, that's enough. Okay, for past 10 years, that could be good enough. Fine. Okay, so next. So anyhow, this is a 0.04 is the correct answer. So okay, this is basic I have given you. So next question. So this is again the question from then the value of gamma minus beta. Okay, again interpolating. Okay, Lagrange's interpolation formula. Okay, so will you apply this now? So please type in the chat box. Will you calculate this? Look, here this question is a bit simple question actually. This polynomial is directly given. P of x is equal to delta plus gamma times of x plus 1 plus beta times of x into x plus 1 plus alpha into x plus 1 into x minus 1. This is the interpolation formula that you have obtained. Okay, so basically if you apply interpolation technique to these 4 points, then this is a cubic polynomial that you get after interpolation. Okay, so once you get this interpolation things, then the points are minus 1 comma minus 3, then 0 comma 1, 1 comma minus 1 and 2 comma minus 3 actually here. Okay, so this is 2 comma minus 3. So once if these are the points, then in that case if you want gamma and beta, okay, so gamma is here and beta is here, these two things. Okay, so first of all let us do one thing. You know, let us suppose if you put x is equal to minus 1 for example, at x is equal to minus 1, at x is equal to minus 1, this polynomial p of x is minus 3, so minus 3 is equal to delta plus, when you put x equal to minus 1, this bracket goes to 0, this bracket goes to 0, this bracket also goes to 0, so all the 3 terms goes to zeros actually. Okay, so if all the 3 terms goes to 0, then this is 0, so delta value is minus 3. Okay, now at x is equal to 0, if you put x is equal to 0, then these 2 terms will go to 0 of course. Okay, so these 2 terms will go to 0, then we have at x is equal to 0, value of p of x is 1, so 1 is equal to, at x is equal to 0, delta plus x is equal to 0, 0 plus 1 is 1 plus gamma. Okay, so this is what you have. These 2 terms will go to 0 because x is there here, so this implies gamma is equal to how much? 1 minus delta, so 1 minus of minus 3, so gamma is actually 4. Now you want gamma minus beta. Okay, so if you put x is equal to 1, at x is equal to 1, polynomial is minus 1, so at x is equal to 1, this polynomial value is minus 1, so minus 1 is equal to delta plus gamma times of 2, because if you put x equal to 1, this is 2, plus beta into 1 into 2, so this is also 2, and this last term will be 0 because when you put x equal to 1, this term will be 0. So here if you see, minus 1 is equal to this gamma, delta is minus 3 plus 2 times of gamma, so 2 times of gamma is 8 plus 2 times of beta. So from this equation you can calculate minus 1 plus 3, so 2 minus 8 is minus 6, so minus 6 by 2, beta is minus 3, minus 3 is beta, gamma is 4. So we know values of beta and gamma, therefore gamma minus beta is equal to 4 minus of minus 3, which is 7. Okay, so 7 is the correct answer basically here. Okay, so sometimes questions like this comes, it's not always like they ask you the polynomial, but sometimes they actually give you the conditions so that we can actually get the coefficients easily. Clear? ओके सो इस बार हम क्या करते हैं, अगर इंटरपोलेशन का क्वेश्चन आए तो आंसर 7 है. ओके करेक्ट. क्यों इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर 7 है? पिछले एक इंटरपोलेशन का क्वेश्चन का आंसर भी 7 है. करेक्ट. सो फॉर एवरी क्वेश्चन ऑफ इंटरपोलेशन आंसर विल बी 7. Yes or no? Can we keep 7 directly if you see interpolation? Can we keep 7 for each and every question of interpolation? No, you should not keep. Okay, you should not keep. Only for these two questions answer came 7. Okay, by coincidence. Clear? You should not assume that this. Okay, I told you I was teaching IIT JEE na previously. There was a 11th class kid, and parents are very much what do you say, they are very ambitious to keep their kids in IITs. Okay, and it's very good if they get, of course. Look, so there is one particular kid. I was teaching in Chennai at that time. So because I'm basically got admitted to IIT Madras actually. So at that time what happened is I was teaching part time, so I have to teach this concepts of limits to some 11th class kids. Okay, in one of the batches. Okay, 11th class is basically JEE mains first starting phase. So I have taught them a question actually. Limit extends to 8. 1 by mod x minus 8. This is what I have taught them, and obviously answer is infinity. Correct? Because when you put x is equal to 0, you will get infinity. After teaching this concept, I gave them one more question. Limit x tends to 5. 1 by mod x minus 5. Because I understood that if denominator is 0, they will let infinity. So here also denominator is 0, they will let infinity. There is one student who wrote the answer this. Okay. He thought that since here there is 8, I rotated it by 90 degrees and kept here. So I have to rotate 5 by 90 degrees and I should keep here. Okay, this is what he believed in. But then later I have to correct him now. So I have again taught him the case. Okay, so things like this used to happen with kids because 11th class is almost like very basic kid level. So sometimes they understand the things in a different way. Yeah, even my expression was the same after seeing 5 here, but it's okay, good. Okay, so he'll learn from his mistakes next time he avoid that. Okay, yeah, first I got a smile, later I have corrected that kid. Okay, it's not like the rotation. I have explained in the concept again. Okay, in an offline class generally I go to each and everyone and talk. Okay, but here it is not there. So in compressible flow included in XE, no compressible flows. So please solve maxima and minima questions. Yes, I'll do. So when can we use substitution method for Lagrange's interpolation? If formula is given like this, okay. If formula is given like this, then we can directly use. If nothing is given, we have to generate the interpolation. Okay. So sometimes directly something like this will be given so that you can actually substitute the things and you can get the coefficients. But if polynomial is not given, then you have to go for the, like in the previous question, like I have done some lengthy analysis a bit. You have to do that. Okay. Excellent in maths. Thank you, Sushant. Any shortcut in here, heat and wave equations? No, wave equation is not in syllabus first of all. Okay, in XE you have only heat and Laplace equations, and even for Laplace equations the solution is like, it depends on the given question actually. Okay, so tomorrow because I know that if I teach heat and Laplace on the same day, tomorrow nobody will attend my class, so that's why today I'm teaching heat equation. So tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow I'll put some questions on Laplace equation. Okay, clear? So please solve maximum and minimum questions. Yeah, I'll solve peak and arc. Okay, peak and arcs are fine. I'll solve these questions on maxima and minima. Clear? No issues. Now let us see this question. This is a simple question. Na? The volume of the solid obtained by evolving the curve y square is equal to x from x is less than, 0 less than x less than 1 around y axis. Okay, so there is one curve. Oh, who is changing this? Just a minute. So let us solve this. There is some axis actually, x axis and y axis. So origin x, y. So from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 1 to x is equal to 1, something like this. X is equal to 1. Okay, and this is x is equal to 0. Now the curve y square is equal to x basically. Okay, so y square is equal to x will be something like this. Okay, so y square is equal to x will be something like this. This is y square is equal to x. Now they told, if you evolve this curve about y axis, then what is the volume of solid? Okay, so please also tell real life application of each concept. In a detailed course I would have definitely told you, but right now let us do the questions, okay, for some time. Fine. Now if you see, basically if you see in this case, this y square is equal to x is the parabola. So now if you see, if you evolve this curve about y axis, then what could be the volume that got generated because of this solid, okay. So because simply we know that directly volume is equal to, look, tell me one thing, if x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1, okay. So tell me one thing, let us suppose if you evolve this solid, you will actually get a small disk like this, yes or no, correct? You will get some small disk like this. Actually if you take some small thickness ds of this, and if you evolve this, you will get a small disk, okay. So what will be the value of this volume of this disk? This is y, at this is x at any given location. So pi x square dx is the pi x square dy, okay, because this height is going to be dy, this is the volume. So here x is changing from 0 to, or y is changing from 0 to 1 actually, okay. So y changes from 0 to 1 actually, because if x changes from 0 to 1, y also changes from 0 to 1 maximum here, because y square is equal to x. So y value, this point is also 1. So integral 0 to 1 pi x square dx, okay. So what is x square? Pi into integral, okay, pi into integral 0 to 1 x square is nothing but y power 4 dy. So if you do this integration, pi by 5 is the volume of the solid that you get generated here, okay. So pi by 5, option D is the correct answer, okay. So D is correct answer, clear? Look, pi y square dx is when you evolve about x axis, okay. Pi y square dx is when you evolve about x axis. Pi x square dy is when you evolve about y axis. Here they have asked evolve about y axis, okay. So D is the correct answer, clear? Normally if you write pi y square dx, that is the area that it gets generated when you evolve about x axis actually, okay. Clear? So pi by 5 is the correct answer here, okay. So let us see this question. GATE 2016, these people have predicted already that COVID will come in 2020. So see, a diagnostic test for a certain disease is 90% accurate, okay. So if you perform a diagnostic test, this is 90% accurate. That is, probability of a person having respectively not having the disease tested positive or respectively negative is 0.9. 50% of the population has the disease. What is the probability that a randomly selected person, a randomly chosen person has the disease given that the person tested negative is dash, okay. So basically if you see, they are asking you, there is one person, if the result is known that it is negative, what is the probability that he actually can have the disease, okay. Because who is changing this here? I myself is changing. Is this touching? No, it's not moving, okay, fine. So something is happening. So a diagnostic test is done. So basically if you see carefully, what you know is actually the report is negative, okay, but the report is actually need not be negative, okay, because there is almost some error in this, okay. So only it is 90% accurate, test is only 90% accurate, okay. So when test is only 90% accurate, okay, so when test is only 90% accurate, a person who is tested negative can actually have the disease, correct? Now if you see what they asked, probability of person having the disease, so deceased when it is already known that test is negative, okay, right? Fine. P of D, again someone is playing with me, I guess, maybe, okay, fine. I am alone in the studio. In fact, I think I am alone in the complete this floor, okay, fine. Let us see. P of technology ghost. Sako Davamat, let it try to fear me, okay, no issues. Now let us see here. P of, okay, I'll stand little bit, maybe some jerkin is touching this. No, jerkin cannot touch this then, okay, I don't know, let us see. So basically if it is known that a person got tested negative, what is the probability that he is actually having the disease, okay, this is the question, okay. Let us suppose if a person got tested negative, but what is the actual chance that he can actually have the disease? Now if you see, if you write the possibilities of getting negative report, okay, there are two possibilities, okay. What are the, someone is playing, okay. So P of D/N. So basically if you check the probability of getting a negative test report, this can happen in two ways. What are the two ways? The person has actually deceased and this machine showed fault result, okay, or the person do not have any disease, no disease, and this has shown accurate result, okay. So let us suppose actual result, okay. So this is actual, this is false. So A is for actual, F is for false, okay, and D is for disease, and ND is not having the disease, okay, not having disease, not having disease, okay. So this is not having disease. Now if you see this, if let us suppose if I tell you that the report is negative, then there can be negative report due to two things, okay. What are the two things? One thing is basically P of D intersection F, means the person actually have the disease but the report showed a false diagnosis, okay. In that case the person can get a negative certificate, or the person really don't have the disease and the result is also accurate. In these two cases, these are the two possibilities of getting the result as negative. Yes or no? Can you all understand this much? So please type in the chat box. Can you all understand this much? So please type in the chat box. Forget about the values, but first let us think of the statements, okay. Probability of getting negative report can happen in two ways. One thing, the person has the disease but the result is fault result, or the person actually don't have the result, don't have the disease and the result is accurate result. So there are two things, okay. There are two possibilities. So basically P of disease intersection negative divided by disease intersection negative divided by P of n is what you have to write here, correct? Basically from conditional probability. Now if you see the cases of P of n is these two cases, P of D intersection F plus P of non-deceased and accurate result. Now out of these two cases, what is this case? Deceased and negative, means if it is deceased but still it is shown fake result. So P of D intersection F is what you have here, okay. So out of these two possibilities, the case that the person actually has a disease is this possibility, so keep this here, okay. So P of D intersection F, so this is nothing but P of D into P of F, because the reports are independent, divided by P of D into P of F plus P of ND into P of A actually here, okay. Now you got the probabilities of each and everything. What is the probability that the person gets deceased, okay. So if you see carefully, 50% of the population has the disease, okay. So that means P of D is 0.5. and what is the probability of showing, look, what is the probability of showing, okay. So what is the probability of showing fake result or showing accurate result is 90% accurate, so accuracy is 0.9. so fake result or false result is 0.1, okay, and probability of not getting infected is 0.5. clear? So these are the terms which are given in the question directly. So if you substitute, this is equal to P of getting a negative report even after getting deceased is equal to, so this term is equal to, now if you replace these values, P of D into P of F, so P of D into P of F 0.5 times 0.1 divided by, then in this case P of D into P of F, okay. So P of D into P of F, P of D into P of F 0.5 into 0.1 plus P of ND into P of A, so P of ND is again 0.5 into P of A 0.9 actually here, okay. So this is what the answer. So now if you simplify this, 0.5 gets cancelled all over, 0.1 by 0.1 plus 0.9 1, so 0.1 is the correct answer. That's it, okay. So 0.1 is the actual correct answer. So basically if you see, 0.1 is the probability that a person who is actually deceased can get a negative report, okay, or whose report is found to be negative is actually deceased person, okay. Clear? So that's what we can tell this. Fine. So this is concept of Bayes theorem basically, okay. So here if you see, this is the main event which has possibilities, and this event is one of the possibilities of this to happen. Okay, so P of n has two possibilities. Okay, and this D intersection F is one of the possibilities of these two. So when denominator is the main event, we go for the Bayes theorem. Okay, so just a minute, I'll call some studio person because the slides are getting shifted unnecessarily. I think there is some technical issue. Just 1 minute, please be online. Okay, clear? Because slides are moving very rapidly. Hello sir, I am also from SRK. I came out to White Bark on same day where you wrote. I want to talk to you. Please give your WhatsApp number. So Sumant, I cannot share my contact, but I'll definitely. You can contact me in the Telegram groups and all. Okay. So please wait for 1 minute. I'll call the technical guy because शिवांश का स्टूडियो टीम है ना, स्लाइड्स ऑटोमेटिकली चेंज हो रहे हैं. शिवांश कहाँ है? अच्छा ठीक है, स्लाइड्स ऑटोमेटिकली चेंज हो रहे हैं यहाँ से. इसको हटा दो ना बाहर. ठीक है, अब नहीं चेंज हो जाएगा, ले लो. हाँ अब ठीक है आई थिंक. ओके फाइन, थैंक यू. Fine. Okay, so let's continue. Clear? Okay, so let's continue. So this question, calculate integral over the curve C1 f bar dot dr bar minus integral over C2 f bar dot dr bar, where C1 is given by this function parameterization. Basically they have replaced x comma y with t, and C2 is t comma root t actually. Okay, so now if you see curve C1 is given like this. Okay, C1 is a vector in space at any given location. This is given by t comma t square point, means basically x is equal to t, y is equal to t square. So what about dx? Dx is equal to dt and dy is equal to 2t dt. Okay, they have just done the parameterization. They have represented x comma y coordinates in terms of t actually here. Okay, now let us see here. C2 is r bar of t is given by t comma square root of t. Okay, so t comma square root of t. So this implies x is equal to t and y is equal to square root of t. Okay, so this implies dx is equal to dt and dy is equal to 1 by 2 square root of t dt. Okay, so these are the terms. Now if you calculate this integration, f bar dot dr bar, f bar dot dr bar is equal to, f bar is xyj dotted with dxi plus dyj. Okay, now if you see this, these terms are equal to xy dy. Okay, so this is what you have. Therefore integration over c1 f bar dot dr bar minus integration over c2 again f bar dot dr bar. So these terms are equal to, so along the first path c1, okay, so xy dy is what you have, minus along path c2 xy dy. Okay, now if you see along path c1, along this c1, xy dy, x is t, y is t square, so t into t square into dy. So what is dy? 2t dt, 2t dt, minus along c2 xy dy, so x is t, y is root t, so t into square root of t into dy. Dy is 1 by 2t dt. Okay, now basically when you parameterize, what are the limits of t? Actually t changes from 0 to 1 in parameterizations. So t changes from 0 to 1 actually. In case of parametric variables, t always changes from 0 to 1. Okay, so square root of t and square root of t gets cancelled. Then this is finally integration of 2t power 4. So 2t power 4 का integration क्या होता है? 2 by 5 t power 5 within the limits 0 to 1 minus this is t by 2, so t square by 4 within the limits 0 to 1. So if you substitute this, then this is 2 by 5 minus 1 by 4. So 2 by 5 minus 1 by 4. So 2 by 5 is 0.4 minus this is 0.25. So 0.4 minus 0.25 gives you 0.15 actually. Okay, so 0.15 is the correct answer here. Clear? 3 by 20. Okay, so 3 by 20 is what? 0.15 na? Correct? 0.15 because very simple, 2 by 5 is 0.4, 1 by 4 is 0.25. So 0.4 minus 0.25 gives 0.15. Okay, so simple parameterization they have given. Just if you do the line integrals, you will get the answer easily. Okay, fine. No, it's okay, thank you. So clear? So 0.15 is the correct answer. Okay, fine, clear. So this is a very simple question actually. Along the path C1, tala solenoidal and any path. Solenoidal means basically divergence is 0. Okay, for any vector, like how we have basically incompressible flow in mechanical. Similarly, there is something called solenoidal in electrical and electronical basically. So that's what we decide. Okay, clear. Now this is the case. 0.15 is the correct answer. So let us solve this. For a complex number k and a complex variable z, the complex function z plus k square is, okay, so I am telling you z plus k whole square is nothing but sum of two complex numbers whole square is again sum of two complex numbers is again a complex number. So let us say z, for example, some other, let us say for example alpha is the complex number, alpha square is also a complex number. So this square is basically differentiable at any point, because if you differentiate this, for example, if you see, let us suppose if this is f of z, okay, if this is f of z, then if you calculate f dash of z, this is 2 times of z plus k, that's it, you know. So whatever the location is of z you keep, definitely this point will exist. Okay, this function will exist. So that's why this function f of z is differentiable at every location. That's why this is for whatever the complex number you take, this function is differentiable. Okay, because if you differentiate, look, whatever the value you take in place of k, this is always some finite defined function for f dash of z. Okay, so that's why this is for any k, the function is actually differentiable. Clear? Okay, fine. So let's go for the next question. This is a good question again. So see here, let the function f from 0 to 1 to r, f is defined from 0 to 1 to r, be such that f dash of x is given by 8 by x square plus 3x plus 4. Okay, so this is what you have for all x greater than 0 and f of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, then f of 1 lies in the interval. Okay, so what differentiable means? Analytic. Yes, basically in complex numbers, if function is differentiable at a point and also in some points around that particular point, then the function is said to be analytic. Okay, in fluid mechanics class, I think I have explained you during potential flow what is analytic, correct? On the first day when I'm solving some fluid mechanics questions, correct? Okay, now if you see this case, f dash of x, here they are not asking you for f of 1 value, but they are asking you for the limits, the interval of f of 1. Okay, so how do you do this? Look, if you want limits, you can go for this thing which is called mean value theorem. Okay, so basically if you see, mean value theorem tells you for the single function f of b minus f of a by b minus a, correct? Here the interval is given 0 to 1. Okay, so you can take this 0 to 1 for example. So this implies f dash of x at any location is equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a. Okay, so f of b minus f of a by b minus a actually here. Okay, so this implies f of 1 is equal to f of 0 plus f dash of x. Okay, now you want maximum values and minimum values of this. Okay, so therefore maximum of f of 1 is equal to f of 0 plus maximum of f dash of x in 0 to 1. Okay, similarly minimum value of f of 1 is equal to f of 0 plus minimum of f dash of x in 0 comma 1. Okay, so this is in 0 comma 1 actually here. Okay, so this is 0 comma 1. So now maximum of this value is nothing but, look, f of 0, this is a fixed value 1 actually. So 1 plus what is maximum of f dash of x? Okay, so what is maximum of f dash of x? Look, if you see, if you want maximum of this function, look, if you want maximum of this function, we can write this as f dash of x is equal to 8 by x plus 3 by 2. whole square plus, because you want x square plus 3x, so if you convert this to perfect square, x square plus 3 by 2, x plus 3 by 2 whole square gives you x square plus 3x plus 9 by 4. So 4 minus 9 by 4 is what you get here. Okay, so this is 4 minus 9 by 4. Clear? So if this is 4 minus 9 by 4, so this is the function. So you want maximum of 8 by x minus 3 by 2 whole square plus, what could be this value? X minus 3 by 2 whole square plus 16 minus 9, 7 by 4. Okay, so this is 7 by 4 in 0 to 1. Now tell me one thing, this is equal to 1 plus, if you want maximum of this function, then you should want minimum of this value. Yes or no? Correct? Look, try to understand carefully here. If you want maximum of this complete function, you should know what should be the minimum value of this function. Okay, so if this function has to be minimum, then this function also has to be minimum actually. Okay, so x minus 3 by 2 whole square has to be minimum. That means x minus 3 by 2 has to be minimum. So what is the minimum value of x minus 3 by 2 actually within this range? When you put x is equal to 1, correct? So when you put x is equal to 1, this 1 minus 3 by 2 whole square becomes 0.5 square, which is the least value. So 8 by 1 minus 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2 whole square plus 7 by 4. So this is 1 plus 8 by 1 by 4 plus 7 by 4. Okay, so 1 by 4 plus 7 by 4, this is 8 by 4 again. So this becomes 8 by 4. So this total value is actually 5, correct? So maximum value is actually 5. Now coming to minimum value, 1 plus minimum of 8 by x minus 3 by 2 whole square plus 7 by 4 in 0 comma 1 actually here. Okay, now if this function has to be minimum, then this function has to be, this function has to be maximum. Okay, for this term to be maximum, this term has to be maximum. That means x can be kept 0 here in this case. Okay, so this is 1 plus 8 by, if you put x is equal to 0, this is 9 by 4 plus 7 by 4 actually here. Okay, so 1 plus 8 by, this is 16 by 4. So we have 4 here. Okay, so this becomes 2. So this is 3. So therefore f of 1 lies in the interval, minimum value of f of 1 in this interval is 3 and maximum value is 5 actually here. Okay, so this f of 1 lies in between 3 and actually 5. Clear? So that's why if you see, the minimum and maximum limits are 3 comma 5. Okay, so okay, 3 comma 5 is not given, 4 is given. Is this 3? So once check this, maximum is 5 of course. So because if you keep minus 1 by 2 at x is equal to 3 by 2. Okay, look, but you cannot keep x is equal to 3 by 2 because your interval is only 0 to 1. Okay, clear? You cannot keep x is equal to 3 by 2 because your interval is only 0 to 1. Okay, clear? Your interval is only 0 to 1. Clear? So that's why if x minus 2 has to be, let us check the values once again here. If this function has to be maximum, then this has to be minimum. If this has to be minimum, then this term has to be minimum. Okay, so x minus 3 by 2 should be as much minimum as possible. Okay, so let us suppose if you keep on increasing x, then this function will keep on increasing. So if you keep x is equal to 0 here, you need minimum, right? So you need minimum value of this. So maximum value that you can put is 1. So 1 by 2 whole square 5. This is fine. So if you put 0, 9 by 4 plus 7 by 4, 16 by 4. So that is 4. This is 2, 3. So 3 comma 5. Okay, so I think this could be the correct answer, but in the examination they haven't mentioned 3 comma 5. They have kept 4 comma 5 actually, but minimum value can be 3 in this case. Okay, so you can change this option to 3. Maybe at that year nobody challenged this question, so 3 comma 5 could be the correct answer. Okay, because everything is right now in the calculation. If this has to be minimum, this has to be maximum. If this has to be maximum, then this term has to be maximum. So as for this term to be maximum, then this term has to be, because since there is a square, it should be 0 here. Okay, so 3 by 2 whole square is the correct answer. Yes, 3 comma 5 is the correct answer. Okay, look, till 2020 XE used to be written by only 3000 people or 3500 people like that. Okay, but once in 2021 when IIT Bombay gave the provision for 2 papers, then from 2021 number of students writing XE was, in 2020 it is 3000 odd something, okay, near to 4000, but in 2021 it was increased to 7 times actually. Okay, so almost some 21,000 people have written the exam in XE. Okay, in 2022 it came down slightly, and this year it came down very much. Okay, so 4,800 is the reason. The reason is, I'll tell you, because by this time number of PSUs already gave advertisements, okay, that they are going to recruit from GATE 2023. So many of the people who are intending for job, since they know XE is only for MTech, so that's why they want PSU. So many of them have actually opted for this mechanical paper. Okay, how to get the idea to solve like this? Only because limits is given. Okay, so limits is given here. So whenever they give limits for the function, always go for the mean value theorem concept. Okay, clear? Yeah, this, yeah, I'm telling you. Okay, this year it got reduced. Okay, but last year it is around 18,000, and before that it is 22,219 people have actually written the examination. Okay, this year again it came down to 4,000 or something. Okay, fine. Okay, so whenever they give you the range for the values, then you should actually go for the this mean value theorem concept. Okay, it is basically called Lagrange's mean value theorem, so we can use this concept. Okay, so 3,5 could be the correct answer actually. So now if you see this next question, so the solution of the boundary value problem. So basically this is again heat transfer, this conduction equation. So 0 less than x less than pi, t greater than 0 with boundary conditions. Initially these two will be 0 anyhow. So dou u by dou x at 0 comma t is equal to 0 is equal to u of pi comma t, and t greater than 0 u of x comma 0 is equal to f of x. 0 less than x less than pi is dash. Okay, so one thing that you have to observe here is basically this dou u by dou x at 0 comma t is 0. What is the meaning of dou u by dou x at 0 comma t is 0? There is no temperature gradient in the left location. Okay, means basically left surface is actually insulated. Okay, so that's what they mean. Clear? So left surface is actually insulated because dou u by dou x. Okay, so there is no difference in the temperature in the x direction with the time. Okay, so this has attained a maximum temperature at that location. So dou u by dou x is actually 0 here. Okay, so thermally insulated, basically the left end is basically insulated with thermal insulation. So that's why we got this. So now I think options got messed up here. Okay, because some typing adjustment, I think they have missed it. Okay, fine. So basically, anyway, whatever I want to tell you, this is going to be the general solution, a n e power n square t, and cos, it is not cos nx, it is actually sin nx. Okay, so this is the correct solution here directly. Okay, because this is the general form of the solution, and 2 by pi into 0 to pi f of x sin nx dx is the value for calculating this coefficient a n, and basically this is of the form e power minus n square t into sin nx. Okay, and these terms are for some different actually wave equation solutions. Okay, and this cos nx is actually the mistake here. Okay, it should be sin nx. Clear? So that's why this is the solution. Correct? Okay, regarding heat equation, just the solution you gave is enough to remember, sir. Yes, basically this is the solution, but I have to tell you one point here. If you want to say that this is the solution, where is this question? If you want to say this is the solution, then these should be the boundary conditions. Okay, fine. If you want to say this is the solution, these should be the boundary conditions. Okay, sometimes these are the boundary conditions, but sometimes what happens, like now we have seen the question, some insulation and all will be there, then the things actually change. Okay, that you will get from the derivations actually. Okay, but generally this is the most frequently asked question. That is a very old question actually, but that was once upon a time in syllabus, but recently they are asking you about this transition equation. That's it. Okay, with this boundary conditions, these are called normally Dirichlet boundary conditions because temperatures at the ends are known to you. Okay, so clear? Fine, so let's go for the next question. So let's go for this question. Next question, the function f of x is defined by f of x is equal to 3 minus x square 3 minus x x minus 1, where x is less than or equal to 1, 1 is less than x less than or equal to 2, and x greater than 2. Okay, so if you see this, this is the function 3 minus x square 3 minus x and x minus 1, x less than or equal to 1, 1 less than x less than or equal to 2, and x minus 1 where x is actually greater than 2. Okay, for option A is given for this question, for previous question 2011 XC. Okay, this question is given 2 pi by x into cos 2 n plus 1 by 2 x. Odd multiples are given, is it? Just a minute, let me check. Let us check this. Okay, Okay, so this is the solution, normal solution of any heat equation, and there is one constant also, u of x comma t is equal to an. Okay, so this is the actual equation. So now if you see, if this is the actual equation, okay, instead of putting directly the values, let us put the boundary conditions. So first thing that you know is basically u of x comma, not x comma, pi comma, I think they have given, u of pi comma t is equal to 0. Okay, so if you put u of pi comma t is equal to 0, let us get these constants. Okay, so if you get these constants, basically this is insulated, this end is insulated, because dou u by dou x, there is no temperature gradient at this location at any time, is 0. So if there is no temperature gradient, then there is no heat transfer obviously, so that is insulated. Okay, in our notes last time I have done the analysis, na detailed analysis, I think. So whatever you are telling might be correct answer. Okay, so anyhow, let us see this, u of pi by t is equal to 0. So if you put x is equal to pi in this equation, okay, so anyhow l and pi gets cancelled, similarly l and pi gets cancelled, this l square and pi square gets cancelled. Okay, so if you see an into c1 cos, when you put x is equal to pi, cos n pi plus c2 sin n pi is 0 into e power minus c n square t. Okay, so c n square t. So basically if you see cos n pi is equal to 0, so if cos n pi has to be 0, then n pi is equal to some odd multiple of pi by 2, so 2n plus 1 times of pi by 2, so 2k plus 1 times of pi by 2. Okay, so basically this n can be written here. So this, if you see, n is equal to cos n pi has to be there here, so cos n pi is equal to this term, right, an into c1 cos n pi plus 0 into e power c n square t, this should be 0, boundary condition. So obviously cos n pi should be 0, or c1 is equal to 0, anything can happen, c1 is equal to 0, or this n pi term should be equal to 2k plus 1 by 2 times of pi, because this is odd multiples of pi by 2. Okay, so if this is odd multiples of pi by 2, because this 2 is here, so odd multiples of pi by 2, so if n gets shifted here, okay, so cos n pi x actually here, correct. So we have n pi, lambda n pi, I think here, correct, we have lambda n pi, if I'm not wrong last time, this lambda n pi is what you'll have here, correct, because we have to do the derivation again here. Okay, 1 baje bhi chain ni nayan sabhi single, sorry I didn't get this. Okay, I think last time we have done this complete analysis, right. So basically this is a theoretical formula actually to remember, so I think this involvement of 2n plus 1 by 2 is correct here. Okay, because so 2n plus 1 by 2, so these two options are wrong, then one of these two is correct. Okay, so exponential of minus this n square, 2n plus 1 by 2 whole square t, but it will be actually cos, na, it is not sin actually. Okay, so because if you see, we are getting this cos term in the left over. Okay, so because this sin term will actually get eliminated, so cos term will be there, so definitely this is the correct solution. Yes, in that case option A is the correct answer. Okay, because if you see, if you generally calculate the general solution of a heat equation, this is how you get the general solution, then you by differential equations, this is what you have. Okay, fine, so A is correct answer in this case. Okay, because cos term will remain and c2 will become 0, and basically this involves some odd multiples of pi by 2. Okay, so that's why this option is the correct answer. Option A is correct. Yes, sorry, option A is actually the correct answer in this case. Okay, because left hand side it is insulated, so from partial derivatives and all we calculate. Okay, so when I find some time, I'll definitely give you this detailed analysis on how to calculate the heat equation solutions, okay, and Laplace solutions, wave equation solutions. Okay, last time I have given you, but you know, again I'll give you from 20th. I'm going to start detailed course. If some of you are there, you will definitely come to know of that. Okay, in English batch I'll teach that. Okay, yeah, variable separable methods basically. Fine, so let us solve this question. Yes, correct, this has to be there, odd multiples of pi by 2 has to be there. Okay, now if you see this, f of x is defined by this function, so this has a local maxima at x equal to 3 and a local minima at x equal to 0, a local maxima at x equal to 0 and no local minima, local maxima at x equal to 0 and a local minima at x equal to 2, no local maxima and a local minima at x is equal to 1, first of all. Okay, so now if you see, f of x is equal to 3 minus x square when x is less than or equal to 1, then 3 minus x when x 1 less than or equal to, x less than or equal to 2, 1 less than x less than or equal to 2, x minus 1 if x greater than 2. Okay, now what is f dash of x? All these polynomials are functions, so f dash of x is equal to 3 minus 2x when x is less than or equal to 1. Then 3 minus 1, which is sorry, this is minus 1. Okay, so 3 minus, this is minus 2x. Okay, so minus 2x when x less than or equal to 1, minus 1 when 1 less than x less than or equal to 2, and 1 when x is actually greater than 2. Okay, so this is how we get the functions. Okay, now if you try to generate this function basically, okay, so 3 minus x square when x is less than or equal to 1. So if you try to generate these functions, look, so let us see origin x y actually here. Okay, so this is origin x y. We have a separate handbook for xc. Yeah, we have a separate, no, for xc we don't have a separate handbook. Okay, for xc we don't have a separate handbook. Whatever is there, that is for mechanical. Okay, now option C is coming, local maxima at x is equal to 0 and local minima at x equal to 2. Let us see first of all. So now if you see, if you try to plot this for x less than 1, okay, so for x less than or equal to 1, 3 minus x square. So 3 minus x square. So if you take x is equal to 1, for example, if you take for example x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1. Okay, so at x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2 is also point of interest. So x is equal to 2, also point of interest here. Okay, so x is equal to 2. Fine, x is equal to 2. Now if you try to plot this function is actually 3 minus x square. Okay, so if this is 3 minus x square, then the roots of this is actually x is equal to plus or minus root 3 actually. Okay, so means the function will actually come something like this. Okay, so x is equal to, if you put x is equal to 0, then y is equal to 3 minus x square. So if you want to know the location of touching x axis, then this is x is equal to 0. Okay, if you put y is equal to 0, x is equal to root 3. So that means y is equal to minus root 3. So basically if you see, this function will start developing like this anyhow. This function will start developing like this down from 1 to 2. Okay, so from x is equal to 1. So when you put x is equal to 1 here, so when you put x is equal to 1, this is 2. Okay, so when you put x is equal to 1, this function is 2. So basically it got increased to 2 like this. So this is the function. So this is 2 at this point. Now from 1 to 2, 3 minus x. Okay, so 3 minus x is the function like this, 3 minus x. So at x is equal to 2, it is 1. So this is coming from 2 to 1 like this. So this is x is equal, y is equal to 2, and this is y is equal to 1. Then again after this location it is coming to be x minus 1. So x minus 1 will be something like this. Okay, so x minus 1 will be something like this. X minus 1 is something like this. So here practically speaking, at these two locations, at x equal to 1 and x equal to 2, and this function is continuously decreasing actually. Okay, so x less than or equal to 1 means this can actually continuously go on. So now if you see, there are some points here. At this location it has local maxima, and at this location it has local minima actually, if you consider the graph. Okay, so at x is equal to 1, y value is 2, which is the maximum peak value of the locality, and here this is the minimum value of this locality. So that's why if you see, at this location at x equal to 1, it has local maxima, and at x is equal to 2, this has local minima. Okay, so if you see, local minima at x equal to 2 and local maxima at x is equal to 0. Okay, so at x is equal to 0, if you see, local maxima no, because at x is equal to 0, if you put x is equal to 0 here, if you put x is equal to 0, it is coming out to be 3, correct? So that means instead of this function being like this, this function is actually something like this. Okay, so at x is equal to 0, this is 2. If x is equal to 0, this is 2. Okay, if you put x is equal to 0 here, this is also 2, but this is actually some parabola. Okay, so y is equal to 3 minus x square. So x square is equal to 3 plus y is basically y is equal to 3 minus x square is actually some curve. Okay, so this is actually some parabolic equation. So if you want y is equal to 0, x is equal to plus or minus root 3. Similarly, if you put x is equal to 0, then y is equal to 3. Okay, so it touches at y is equal to 3 basically here. It touches the y axis at x is equal to 3. So somewhere here. Okay, so it touches at y is equal to 3, and then x is equal to root 3 is somewhere here. So the polynomial function will actually be something like this. Okay, so this polynomial function will try to come like this, but it is something like this here. So it has this maximum at this location out of all these points and local minimum at this point. So this is the correct sketch. Okay, because this function y is equal to x square minus 3 or 3 minus x square actually. So 3 minus x square will be touching this at root 3, which is 1.732. Okay, so after coming here the function is getting changed, so that's why this y is equal to 3 minus x square is like this. So out of all these points, it has a maximum at this location at x equal to 0 and minimum at this location at x is equal to 2. So definitely this option C is actually correct. Okay, yeah, C is correct answer, of course. So C is correct answer. Okay, so C is correct answer. Can we do without graph, sir? Yeah, basically you can calculate at this location this function is not differentiable. Okay, so at x is equal to 2 you cannot decide on maximum or minimum. Okay, because at this point the function is not differentiable. So if you try to calculate by if you try to calculate by using equations, then you will feel little difficulty, because at x is equal to 2 you cannot decide whether the function has maximum or minimum, because the function is not differentiable. Okay, because left hand derivative is -1, right hand derivative is +1, so function is not differentiable there. Clear? So that's why graphical analysis is done here in this case. Okay, so maximum at this location and minimum at this location. Okay, that's what. Fine. So this option C is actually the correct answer. Okay, next let us go for the next question. So 2011 XE again. Solution: in a biased die experiment, the random variable x of the outcome has the cumulative distribution like this. Okay, so what is cumulative distribution? Basically, die can show any of these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correct? Now they have given you cumulative distribution. So what is cumulative? Sum till that particular point. So basically, if you see, if x, and if this is probability of x, then x can take the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then what are the values that p of x can take? P of x can take, look, whenever x is equal to 1, the probability is 0.1. Okay, so when you consider only till 1, the probability is 0.1. So p of x is 0.1. Now when you consider the total probability till 2, the total probability till 2 is 0.3. Look, p of 1 is only 0.1, but sum of this 1 plus 2, the probability of 1 plus 2 till this point is 0.3. So can you please tell me what is the probability of getting only 2? So tell me, basically here if you see this cumulative function, for x is equal to 1, the probability is 0.1, but the probability of getting either 1 or 2 both combined is 0.3. Then can you tell me what is the probability of getting only 2? 0.2, correct? So that is 0.2. Now what is the probability of getting only 3? 0.5 minus 0.3, this is also 0.2. Probability of getting only 4, okay, 0.7 minus 0.5, 0.2 again. Probability of getting only 5, 0.9 minus 0.7, so 0.2. And for 6, 1 minus 0.9, so this is 0.1. So this is the table. Now if you want expectation of x, variance of x is being asked. Okay, so how do you calculate variance? Expectation of x square minus expectation of x whole square. Okay, so this is how we calculate variance. Now for this table, x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what about p of x? P of x is basically 0.1, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 and 0.1 finally. Okay, so expectation of x square. Expectation of x square is nothing but summation of x square into p of x. Okay, so this is equal to 1 square into 0.1 plus 2 square into 0.2 plus 3 square into 0.2 plus 4 square into 0.2 plus 5 square times 0.2 plus 6 square times 0.1 actually here. Okay, so plus 6 square times of 0.1. Clear? So this is equal to 0.1 plus 0.4. Okay, so 0.8, 0.2 into 4, 0.8 plus 0.2 into 9, 1.8 plus, okay, so then 16 into 0.2, 16 into 0.2 is 3.2 plus 25 into 0.2, 25 into 0.2 is 0.5, 25 into 0.2 is how much? 50. So this is 5 actually. Okay, not 0.5, this is 5 plus 36 into 0.1, 3.6. Okay, so this is the x square value. So if you sum up 0.9 plus 1.8, okay, so 0.9 plus 1. Okay, or else 0.8 plus 3.2, 4, 1.8 plus 3.6, 5 actually. Okay, so 5 plus 4, okay, so 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 5, 14, 14 plus 0.1, so 14.1. Okay, So this is 14.1 actually. Okay, and what is expectation of x? Expectation of x is basically sum of x into p of x. Okay, so if you calculate this, then 0.1 plus 2 into 0.2, 0.4 plus 3 into 0.2, 0.6 plus 0.8 plus 1 plus 0.6. So if you do this calculation, this is 1, okay, and this is one more 1. So 2, 2.9 and 2.9 plus 0.6, 3.5. Okay, so expectation is 3.5. So what is variance? Expectation of x square minus this 3.5 whole square. Okay, so if you calculate this value, you can get the expectation 14.1 minus 3.5 square. Okay, so 1.85 is the variance of this particular calculation. Okay, so 1.85 is what you have. 1.85 is, okay, did we commit any calculation mistake? Anyway, calculation mistake here? So please type in the chat box. So please type in the chat box. Any calculation mistake here? 1.8 is what variance of x, correct? So please check the calculation. Is everything correct? 2.5 is coming somewhere. Where? 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, 6 square. What is the probability? 0.1 for 1, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 and 0.1 finally. Okay, so this is the case. So that means 1 square into 0.1 plus 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.1. So 0.1, 4 into 0.2 is 4 to 8, so 0.8, 9 into 2, 18, so 1.8, 16 into 2, 32, so 3.2, 25 into 2, 50, so 5 plus 6 square, 36 into 0.1, 3.6. Okay, so this is 3.6. So if you calculate this value, 0.9, 0.9 plus 5. Okay, so 0.9 plus this value is 5 actually. Okay, so 5 plus 5 is 10, so 10.9, 10.9 plus 3.6, 14.5. okay, so this is 14.5. okay, we have done some small calculation here. This is 14.5, correct? Yeah, 14.5. This is 14.5 and this is correct. So 0.1, so 0.1, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1, 6. Okay, so 0.5, 1.1, 2, 3, 3.6. It is 3.6 now. 0.5, 1.1, 1.1 plus 0.8, 1.9, 1.9, 2.9, so 3.5. This is correct. Okay, so 14.5 minus, this is not 14.1, 14.5 actually. Okay, so 14.5 calculation you have to do little carefully. So then this answer will change now, obviously. So 14.5 minus 3.5 whole square, so 14.5 minus 3.5 square. Okay, so 2.25, correct? So 2.25 is the correct answer. Yes, 2.25, which is in option B actually here. Okay, so option B is actually the correct answer in this case. Clear? Okay, maza means, what is this maza? I didn't get this. Sorry. Okay, fine, whatever. So let's go for the next question. Okay, so please give me Telegram ID. In the links you have actually Sumant. So please once check in the description links, you can find that. Okay, enjoy translation. Okay, that's it. Okay, fine, we will really enjoy after get the things. Okay, so will you cover gate XC mathematics all questions? Yes, I've tried to convert. I have tried to cover all models actually. Okay, so series and sequences we have done one question. Okay, only one topic that I didn't cover is Laplace equations and one more power series solutions. Okay, because there were no PYQs accordingly in recent time. So that we will try to cover in Abhyas series. Okay, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So anyway, let's go for the next question. So next question. Okay, I think these are the questions then today. I think we have kept some little less questions. Fine. What is the time by the way? Acha, 1:30 already, 1:25. Good. So then we have done correctly only. We have done little fast. Today no more. You didn't ask me many doubts actually. That's why we finished fast. So radius of convergence question. Can you tell general method? Look, basically radius of convergence is on x-axis. What is the interval about which your complete series is convergent? That's called the radius of convergence. Okay. So I'm facing the problem in reading the question of maths. Can you tell me how to identify the key points in the question? Look, for example, if you take any question, for example, you take generally like you take this question, probability question. Okay, so you can actually write this just by intuitions. Okay, means basically once you study, you understand what to do, then from that, from your fundamental points, you try to work it out. Okay, similarly you take this question, then there is interpolation formula. Okay, directly they have given you, so using this we evaluated the constants like this. Okay, important topic बता दीजिए, unbounded and bounded का थोड़ा concept. Unbounded and bounded is basically having finite and infinite. Okay, bounded means basically the solution can be in some particular limits. Okay, that's it, we cannot take the finite values. Okay, last few days of XC preparation, solve PYQs and attend this series, you will easily get important things. Important topics to cover 5 to 6 marks easily you can cover. Yeah, basically if you know only mechanical syllabus, you can easily write 7 to 8 marks. Okay, doesn't matter, only if you know mechanical syllabus, you can easily write 7 to 8 marks. And if you slightly do some complicated problems on mechanical syllabus, you can easily get 10 to 11 marks. Those extra topics will be generally of 3 to 4 marks. Okay, every year. At least it is suggestible to do at least 10 years PYQs. Okay, so 10 years of PYQs is fine. So cutoff for IITs in XE minimum marks, it depends every year, but this year if you get a 700 score or 730 and something around that, you can easily get an IIT admission. Okay, 730 to 740, I think you can get an IIT admission this year. That's what I'm expecting. Fine. So then anyhow, we have closed the last part of this finally, mathematics A. So tomorrow at 8th, okay, so basically 8th Feb 2023, same schedule. Okay, all these things, but of course new questions. Okay, on 8th and 9th actually. Okay, so 9th Feb 2023, we have new questions to do. Okay, on the same timings and the same slot. Okay, so that we will do. Convergent and look, convergent and divergent are bounded and unbounded different. Hey, look, convergent means, look, I'll tell you difference. Convergent means it comes to some finite value, divergent means it goes to infinity. Bounded and unbounded means unbounded and infinity are like same, but bounded doesn't mean convergent. Okay, bounded means you know that the value can come somewhere in between, say for example -5 to +4, something like that. Okay, but you don't know what is the exact value. That is what you call bounded actually. Okay, डाटा साइंस IIT गौहती में बनने कुछ के बारे में कुछ बताओ सर. So basically if you see sorry, I'm reading these smiley symbols and heart symbols actually. Data science IIT Guwahati, yeah, basically data science IIT Guwahati, as far as I know, because some people who joined at 2020 and all, placement wise it's okay, you will get placed definitely. And concepts wise, if you have some good gate score, prefer IISc Bangalore than IIT Guwahati. Okay, even IIT Guwahati is really good, but comparatively I try for IISc. If you don't get, then you can definitely go for IIT Guwahati. Okay, so what would be a safe score for IIT Madras branches XC? 750 or like 75 marks is safe score. Okay, that's what I personally feel. So something around 70 to 75 marks can easily get you admission in IITs. Okay, so what would be a safe score for IIT Madras? Yeah, I have answered. So equivalent gate marks for 750, 700, better get 70 to 75 marks. Okay, then it will be easy for you. Clear? Fine. So anyhow, the team, and finally this most important slide for you guys. Okay, look, many students, they worry about this thing actually. So they feel like they feel like, for example, maths is very tough, mere paas basics nahi tha. So focus on what you can do. Okay, it's not like telling I don't know anything and sitting idle. That's not the correct case, but actually try to do something good. Okay, and try to keep practicing the questions for the next 2-3 days, so that you will actually get some good in touch with the subject. Okay, thank you sir, you are there for us in the morning as well as right now. Huge respect for you. Thank you Dev. Tala, do you remember you slept all doors locked and people panic? Yeah, one day it happened. Thank you sir, good night sir, take rest. Your IIT Madras passing year, actually mine is a different story. I'll tell you sometime when I find some time. Okay, I got admitted to MTech at 2017. I came out during 2019 December. Then there are some issues and all, we'll share later. Fine. Fine, I just need good pass marks to get a PhD, but PhD is not offered based on gate XC score actually. Okay, so only gate mechanical score is allowed for PhD, but for integrated PhD, gate mechanical score is very less actually. Okay, like almost around some 600, 630, even that could give you shortlisting, that can make you get shortlisted for integrated PhD course. Okay, MS plus PhD is what it's offered generally. Minimum marks for any program in IITs basically वैसा नहीं होता है कि लेकिन आप गेट क्वालिफाई करना होगा. Okay, so you should qualify gate and then you should actually go for this what do you say, score. Based on only score they check, they don't check minimum marks and all. You have to qualify and you should have a little what do you say, some score, good enough score, that's it. You are a maths genius. Fine, thank you. Gate XC also, last my friend got IITM aerospace. Yeah, basically many of the mechanical aspirants will also opt for aerospace at IITs, at MTech exclusively. But as far as if you want to settle in India, then definitely as of now aerospace has some limited offers. But if you want to go abroad and do some advanced studies, or if you want to get a job in abroad, then aerospace is definitely a very good option. Okay, but as for the existing conditions, you have some certain limitations for aerospace, but at IIT's level that won't be at a big level again. Okay, gate XC for atmospheric department in IITD or NIT. If you do MSc in atmospheric department, IIT Delhi is better, Nevan. Okay, average package in IITs depends, like software companies aate hain, they offer you something around some. Okay, you can go to placement report of IIT Madras and you can of any IIT in general and you can check. Okay, any IIT generally displays placement. Okay, so pele, look, I'll tell you one thing. As of now, don't focus much on what happens after 2 years after getting by the time I come to placements at IITs. First of all, focus on exam. Okay, after exam you have lot of post gate sessions which tells you about the counseling procedures, placement scenarios. Okay, all the things. Okay, we have very detailed sessions from our team. Okay, after gate. So first target is clear gate examination with good score. Once you get a good score, then you will have a lot of options in hand. Okay, so first focus on that. Once you have a lot of options, then we shall decide where to go, how to go, and how to get good placements and all. But as of now, focus on exam. Okay, कितने लोगों को आपके core branches didn't go fine? XC is one good option and one very lucky option actually this time, because every year what happens is mechanical and XC will be conducted on consecutive days. Okay, means Saturday mechanical or Saturday XC, Sunday mechanical. Okay, this is the trend it used to be in past years. So even if your XC is bad, or even if your mechanical is bad, you don't have anything to do after that. Okay, but this time mechanical got conducted first and you have 7 days gap. If your mechanical exam didn't go fine, you still have got the option for 7 days. So you please use this option clearly. So how can I send my doubts to you, sir, if I face in solving questions? Your contact email or something? No, I cannot give my personal IDs, but you can actually try to contact me through the Telegram channels. Okay, good night, sir. These people will ask you everything in one night. Okay, let them ask here. I will be very happy to answer you. Okay, no issues. Fine, if you have doubts you can ask me, because today's session got finished little early. I thought when I'm teaching this, what do you say, this diagonalization, all these concepts and all, it'll take some, you'll ask me a lot many doubts, but luckily you understood soon, so that's why session got ended quickly. Okay, any more things? Fine then. Okay, but please make use of this PYQ series and all these things. Okay, so try to get some good knowledge and then try to clear your exams and all. That will be very much helpful to you. Okay, I already got placed and I don't want to go for PhD in future. Should I opt MTech or go for job after BTech? I'm a little confused. It depends on your job and your interest actually. Okay, normally if you see, like if you are from a tier 2 college, then getting into IIT and getting placed in IIT will be a definitely better option. What makes you left bark? This I'll tell you after some time. Okay, no, sometime is not now, after some days. Potential flows के लिए हमें discuss किया था actually. So potential flows, we are planning to upload the recorded lectures, whatever the lectures I have taken in paid batch. So some 4 to 5 lectures are there. So potential flow and Reynolds transport theorem, these lectures I'm planning to upload on. We are planning actually to upload, but that needs approval again from the top management. So the concerned HODs are talking to the top management. So once they are done, you can find the lectures. Okay, hopefully hopefully by tomorrow, or in the least case by day after tomorrow, by Friday you can get that. Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, so then thank you all. I wish you all the best. Then we'll meet tomorrow 8 a.m. to start solving some, what is the 8 a.m. subject? Fluid mechanics, na? Yeah, so 8 a.m. we'll start fluid mechanics, and then we will move forward. Okay, we'll solve some new questions. Noon. My native place ekkada, sir? My native place is in Andhra Pradesh, and basically from near something close to Bhimavaram. Okay, thank you all. Then take care. Bye. Okay, so yeah, take rest. Love you too. So fine, you also take rest. Okay, so take care. Then all of you sleep well for at least 6 hours. So you'll wake up at 7:30 or 8. No, don't wake up at 8 o'clock. Wake up at 7:30 sharp. Sleep for 6 hours, and then uh, attend the session at 8 o'clock. Okay, Sandeep sir will start. Then slowly I'll also join that session. Then we'll both will take from there. Okay, fine then. Okay, so fine then. Take care, all of you. We'll meet tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay, thank you. Bye. Take care.